get into your physical. It's time to talk some piss and more. We're gonna talk about it all. DVD, CD, UHD, VHS, clips, Blu-ray. Who knows, maybe you'll even see a laser disc today. Let's get physical. We wanna talk some physical media. Movies and TV, music and more. Come check out what we have in store. This is a media house stream. It's time for some physical media on FanZcene.
I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Jimmy does that.
It's got the Mighty Ducks guy.
No! Yes, but no! He's not the Mighty Ducks guy! It's Emilio Estevez! For the
You can never have enough physical media.
Thank you. You're beautiful. I love you, especially you in the back. I see you. Yeah, the good-looking one. Yeah.
Physical media is filmed by a live studio audience.
You need to do the laugh after that too, because after they say that they always laughed. Love it. Well, hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene. I am Greg of FanZcene. With me tonight is Tom with Midnight. It's just us two tonight. Just us two hanging out. Going to talk some physical media. Hopefully have a good show. So how you doing, Tom?
Doing the best I can. How you guys doing? Good?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Oh, you got a nice shirt on. Look at you.
Got Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, that's an OG too. That's nice.
Yeah, OG.
I'm gonna change into a vampire.
I like that little fade. How is it like faded?
Oh. Yes, I'm an OBS.
Nice. It's nice. It's a very nice. So sugar and spice. All right, let's say hi to the chat real quick, and then we'll get into all the physical media goodness. We have Random Brad. What is up, Random Brad? Always glad to have you with us. And as always, what's up, Cowabunga dude? I need to get that clip from Scary Movie or the Budweiser commercial where they say that was up. So when I see him, I could just play it. Yeah, what's up? And Ace Hanlon, let's talk about some horror movies. Yes, I got you covered there. Yeah. Got you covered. I don't know if yours is all horror tonight, but mine all are. So
about 90%.
That works. That works. What's up, Tim Hayes? Hell to you. Glad to have you with us in the chat as well. And hell to you, Brian Barth. Good to see you out there. Salute to you, Stephen of Deleted Scenes. Glad to have you with us. Yes, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And you get, if you're a member, you get these fancy little emojis and stuff. So that's a plus. What's up, Style Section? He says, let's go. Hey, kids. I just think Garfield. I just.
Hey, kids.
Yeah, hey, kids.
Pinky the Clown.
Hey, it's time for Garfield's Halloween, which is also The Fog. As we pointed out in the past. What's up,
Happy birthday, happy birthday. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. I remember that.
I do. Yeah, I remember that. I remember they used to play Garfield and then Heathcliff right back to back on, was it Saturday, I think, over here? I think so.
Maybe for you. We had Garfield on Saturday mornings, then Heathcliff was on syndication, so that was on WGN out of Chicago.
Yeah, they used to play him like it was like the Garfield Heathcliff hour is what I remember. Cool. Yeah,
or Two Orange Cats.
Yep. What's up, Corleone Rogue? Glad to have you with us. RJ Godzilla 81. Good to see you in the chat. Hell to you, FKHC 2005. Glad to have you there as well. What is up? Hell to you, Tyrell 72. Live long and prosper. Anthony Draven, what's up, man? Glad to have you with us. Let's see. Dragonzilla, hell to you, my good friend. Glad to see you in the chat.
So many Zillas.
Hey. Yes, we got a big Godzilla fan base out there that like to watch us, and I'm proud to have them.
Oh, no, they say he's got to go.
Oh, no.
Go Godzilla.
Go Godzilla. Go Godzilla. Now I got the Power Rangers, like, whatever. I don't know why that was just stuck in my head.
There goes Tokyo. Go Godzilla.
Yes. What's up, Clark Shark? He says, "Welcome to the party, baby. Physical media show, Halloween extravaganza." Yes, and that'll be next week. Hopefully, we can do something fun, have some good movies for you next week because we will be on the night before Halloween. Devil's Night, my new favorite holiday.
Fire it up.
Fire it up. Fire it up. Yep, that'll be next Wednesday, hopefully. So, got that. Tyrell got his Batman 89 to 97 4K Steelbook today. Nice. That's a good set, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we do have Tim Hayes, a member for 26 months.
Tim.
Hell, Greg and Tom. What's up, Tim? Glad to have you with us. Let's see, what can I give you for the members chat? I didn't upload it. I wonder if I can upload it real quick. If I have it. It's another Gary Busey thing. I love it. I gotta find it real quick. It should totally take a second if I put it on here.
Like jam. That's not my jam.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, it's not my jam.
This is not my jam. I get in order for Halloween. It's processing. It should be up. Come on, man, load up. This is actual Gary Busey. Okay, so this is for you, Tim, and happy Halloween.
This is my buddy, Mr. Pumpkinhead. He is an incredible friend, especially this time of year. Halloween! Love you, Pumpkin.
Oh, well, the things he's going to do to that pumpkin.
I know, that poor pumpkin. Halloween!
That pumpkin looks pretty fucking scary, like shit going on in Gary's head.
I saw that the other day, and I was like, oh, I got to do that. I got to have that.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that poor pumpkin.
I love Gary. But,
I do. He's great. But thank you, Tim. Thank you for being a channel member here, for all your support. I appreciate you always, as always. Yes, happy almost Halloween.
Yes.
Did I get everybody? Yes, I think so. Yeah, Gary Busey is something, let me tell you. Halloween!
So yeah, let's dive into
it. Yeah,
announcements. I guess we got a couple of them. One we actually played a role in Hellraiser Judgment 4K coming from Turbine. They used our commentary. I don't know.
Midnight's Edge, folks, not mine.
Oh, well, yeah. So yeah, I guess we graduated a little bit, even though it's only in Germany, but still.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, you've one-upped me now. Since I was a blurb on the back of a Blu-ray, now you're special features on a 4K.
Yeah. Either way, I'm proud of us. Thank you. Otherwise, we got Speed Racer announced for 4K. That'd be the movie, of course. Did we do the Winchester, the Grifters, Yojimbo, Senjiro, and
from Criterion
JoJo Dancer last week? Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, we got It's People, Soylent Green from Kino. And I believe that was pretty much it for the major releases. There really wasn't much.
Yeah, I didn't see anything else.
I'm surprised we didn't get a bunch of Christmas announcements this week. Usually this is about the time we start getting to get an idea of what we're going to get for Christmas this year. But so far, because I know we're getting the Grinch in 4K on October 30th. But yeah, I mean, usually is when they announce like whatever the bigger releases are going to be for Christmas time. And it just doesn't seem like there's much coming up.
Yeah, it's just kind of like dry for a little there for a while. Even for like the Halloween titles this year, doesn't feel like there's because like yeah, they didn't really.
And Trick or Treat got delayed again, so yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, that's one I've been waiting on for a while. That I was just talking with somebody about that. They were like, I absolutely love the Trick or Treat with Sammy Kerr, and it's supposed to be a 4K, and it's still not out. So yeah,
it must be in the same place the Highlander show 4K is, or Blu-ray. I mean, not 4K, but yeah. But yeah, no. So that was really pretty much it. Oh, Alien Romulus is getting a VHS release.
Yeah, I'm torn on that.
So many people ask me, "Does this mean VHS is coming back?" And I said, "No,
no, it's not. No."
First of all, most of the people that buy this probably won't even have a VCR. They're just buying it to have it as a collectible.
Yeah, most of those people. Yeah, that's true. That's what I was thinking about doing a video on this, because as somebody who does collect VHS and who has bought newer movies on VHS and actually have watched them, I'm torn on this because no, VHS is not making a comeback. much like Tom and everybody said, it's not. This just feels like a Disney cash grab to cash in on that market. And
yeah, it just seems weird, but yeah, because they also gave away a VHS, I think, at the one of the Comic Cons this year too, that had the trailer for it on it or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did. I think Constantine was news a couple weeks back, but yeah, I think we actually got a release date, at least for the UK version of it, which is generally pretty close to the US one for Warner titles. But speaking of Warner Brothers.
Yes,
we were talking a little bit about this before the show, and I had gotten word from a birdie that Warner Brothers is no longer going to be doing slipcases for their Blu-rays and 4Ks and DVDs anymore. Not that they really did them much for the latter, but yeah,
that boggles my mind. I mean,
and it turns out Nightmare on Elm Street might even be the last one.
Which is crazy. Have we reached the point in physical media where they've actually got, not only did they cut back on the menus, not only did they cut back on the artwork, now they're cutting back on the slipcases. Have we really reached that point? I mean,
to save a few cents, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, that's insane. I mean, that's gonna, like we were just talking, that's gonna mess up so many people's collection that like the slipcases. I know some people don't. I know some people don't like them. I've heard people just throw them away. I'm like, why do you do that? But
shit, you can sell those, man. Like,
I know. I've tried to tell people,
and they don't cost nothing to ship, right? So.
And they're just like paper. You can put them in.
That was one of the coolest things I loved about Vinegar Syndrome is once in a while they'll come out with new versions of their slipcovers, or they'll redo their slipcovers or whatever again. But you can buy them where you don't have to buy them with the movie if you didn't get the, like, for instance, I got Hobgoblins when I first got it. I got it without the slipcover, but then they issued it again with a brand new slipcover. It's different, I think, than the other slipcover they had initially, but either way, I mean, it's still, now I got Hobgoblins with a slipcover, and all it cost me was like, I think it was like $6 or $7 just for the slipcover.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can sell a lot.
Great at doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can sell. I've seen people sell slipcovers on eBay for $10, $15, $20.
Yeah,
more than that in some cases, especially for the lesser or the ones that are harder to come by.
Yeah, I've seen them go, and I've seen some of them sell for outrageous amounts of money, almost as much as the Blu-ray.
Reissue. Thank you, Godzilla. That's the word I was looking for. Reissue.
Oh, there you go. Reissue the slipcover. Yes. But
no, for the word.
Yeah, especially if it's like the Nightmare on Elm Street, which I'm sure, like we've talked about, like they'll do that. They release the first one on 4K, and then we'll see how it sells. Oh, now here's all of them.
That's another
4K,
problem I've heard is that they outsold their stock, and that's why a bunch of people aren't getting their fucking steelbooks yet from Amazon. My friend, my personal life friend, and a few other people have reached out to me and said the same thing, because my buddy's at this point where he's like, should I just get the regular one or what? I said, I don't know if you'll even get that at this point. I mean, I've known a lot of people who just haven't got theirs yet, because that's what we've been told, or I've heard between lately, is that Amazon has been overselling their stock of what they're supposed to be getting on a lot of these, and that's why they've been having an issue with getting some of these out on time. Although I did get some of this week's releases on time, which is surprising. But
that's fine. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been weird. Like physical media collecting here lately has been a bit of a weird thing, with like changes and stuff. I
do feel like Nightmare on Elm Street must have sold very well for them, because it was, as soon as that was like, clearly they knew they had enough pre-sales that they jumped right into doing the rest of the films, obviously, because we know Arrow's bringing out Freddy versus Jason and a couple other ones, and we know at least Freddy's Dead has been remastered, so that leads us to believe that the rest have, and we've heard rumors that the rest of the films have been remastered already, and some include unrated cuts, which I'm sure Nightmare 5 is one of those, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, which would be the first time that's been available since the original release.
Yeah. Which would be fun. It'd be good to get to, and like they'll probably, like you said, they'll probably do like a Freddy box set. But like what I was telling you, like if this is the end of slipcovers, that's going to mess up the people that want that slipcover on the first one, and the Buy Me Each One standard. They're not going to have that to match with the first one. So that's just insane. That I guess price cutting is price cutting.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. And it's not like a lot of their. I mean, look, I get it. Warner Brothers probably has the worst covers of everybody. Like whoever works in their marketing department to do these things, like we've made fun of them already for the John Candy riding a moose and shit like that. Like whoever comes up and designs, like the Blazing Saddle ones is another fucking eyesore coming out here. We're going to talk about one tonight that, I mean, some people liked, but I kind of thought was really chintzy and cheap and really didn't really fucking capture what I would have liked to have done, but we'll get into that. But anyway, back to the show, because I think we got quite a bit to talk about title wise. So bad news aside, good news aside, let's get on with the show.
Get on to real quick, just so you can, since I don't know if you saw it or not, if am I coming? Okay. What are slipcovers?
Are you serious, Bryant? You'll find out in a few minutes.
You'll find out. All right.
I'll make sure to point one out.
Okay, let's go ahead, Tom. Do you want me to go first? Or you go first. Since
That's up to you. I don't know how many titles you got. So
I got 3. Well, I got 4 altogether, but 2 of them we're going to talk about.
Well, I know we're going to kind of cross over, but I guess I'll start if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I have the more titles, and we'll start with the non-Halloween one first. I'll go against the grain here.
Okay.
For those who just saw my recent post on Facebook or X, I was trying to get a gauge on this because I watched this and I was just like, I don't hate the movie, I don't dislike it, but I did some checking and the budget was just astronomical for the time it came out in 1949, and it won all these awards and shit. But the movie just reminded me a lot of Citizen Kane. So I was asking people, is this just an expensive ripoff of Citizen Kane or what? I know it's based on a book. That book also was written after Citizen Kane. Now, are there like extreme parallels or anything like that? Not on the main surface level, but just over the main kind of like generalization of what the film is about and how it was shot. I feel like somebody was like really trying hard to make a Citizen Kane kind of movie. But the short basic story is about this hick Southern guy who keeps running into like basically trouble, and he decides he's going to start running for government, and he starts at the bottom and it works his way up. And the ultimate story is really just basically about how, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Because he starts from a good place, starts from a place of ideals and being a good guy, and ends up becoming just as corrupt as the men he took out of office to begin with. So spoilers,
right?
But yeah.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. No.
It was one of the ones, and if you haven't noticed, it's one of the purple cases, because yes, I did get the new Columbia box set, and this just happened to be the first one I grabbed out of there and threw in. I don't know why. just happenstance.
Just happened to pull it out, check it out. I've never seen it, so I wish I could talk a little more about it, then help you out with this. But so it feels just like Citizen Kane.
There's just elements of it because I liked it, but then the main character is so unlikable compared to Charles Foster Kane, that's the kind of thing that stuck out to me the most. Is like, it was all right movie, but I'm like, I enjoyed watching Citizen Kane more because even in his downfall, he was still a very interesting person. Like, this character just comes off as a creepazoid after a while. Like, you can tell that he's just, and you just, there's nothing to really like about the character. I mean, after a while, at first you do like him, and that's what I think really I disliked about the movie, I guess, is that when the swing kind of happens in his character, that it's just kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that's where this was going, but it's almost like he's bringing it on himself. Like, this is almost like it was his plan all along. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I liked it. It was fine, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, considering how much of a classic it is.
I've been there sometimes.
And I'll be honest with you, it's kind of indicative of how this is probably the worst Columbia box set we've got yet. The only movie in this box set that I think is worth a shit right now is Tootsie, and maybe the Brando one, the waterfront one. I just forgot the name. God damn it.
What is it?
All along the waterfront, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Along the waterfront. Yeah.
Because they've got and I was kind of weirded out because I thought it was the other Little Women that was in this set. I'm sitting here staring at it going, why in the fuck is the new Little Women in this set? Why wasn't that just released as a regular fucking Blu-ray?
Right.
Regular 4K release. It's only 5 years old. It should have been released as a 4K initially to begin with. And I checked, it didn't. And I'm still going, why is this fucking movie in this set? Like, I just don't get it. It's the what's-her-face Barbie director's version of Little Women.
Oh yeah, the Greta Gerwig.
Yes, and I'm like, I'm never going to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And it is such a waste of fucking space. So you go from some real mediocre films to Tootsie to, you know, Waterfront and Tootsie being the highlights, I guess. And then, I mean, all the King's Men's, it's a good movie, but I don't know if it really justified being in this set. Sure, it won 3 Oscars at the time, but is it that well known and well talked about? I seen one person in the in the chat said they loved it, but great lines or whatever. But nothing really stood out to me, man. I was really kind of I just kind of just like,
Yeah, it's just it wasn't quite what I expected.
It looks great, looks amazing. Like Sony knocks it out of the park as usual with their transfers for the most part. I mean, I can't say anything about that. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. Sorry, not much more.
Well, it happens. I mean,
Nobody's been able to
everything.
argue with me yet, so that's the thing. I'm waiting and hoping there's somebody will not so much argue with me, but give me another point of view on it, that how it's not just a ripoff of Citizen Kane in a weird way.
Yeah,
more or less just a expensive version of it with none of the same gusto.
Says Rawson originally offered the starring role to John Wayne, who found the proposed film script unpatriotic and indignantly refused the part.
I can see why. It's just not it doesn't have a very great ending. It's not a, I mean, the ending is what it is. I'm not going to say it's
right,
but it's a very downer movie at the end. And it's just kind of like,
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, I wish I could give it back to you, but I've not seen it. Yeah, I've not seen it.
Moving right along.
Well, that makes me not even want to see that one. There's a 2006 remake.
I
with
saw
Sean
that when I
Penn.
was looking this one up. I don't know. I can't imagine what that movie's like.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty bad.
Sean Penn, I can't even picture him in the role. Because, like, the guy's supposed to be a very blustery, like, Southern, good old boy. Obviously not Sean Penn.
Yeah, that's not even close. Oh, man. All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to my first pick, and it's probably one you haven't seen either, so it probably won't be a loud conversation on this one either, but I'm all horror tonight, so I have
You're a whore tonight?
I'm a whore. I'm a whore for physical media. So I have Lost After Dark. It's a slasher movie. Yeah.
Well, then just look in the morning.
Just look for him in the morning. So, whoever made this was probably a big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th, because that's basically the combined plot here. It's from 2014 though. It's set in the 80s, 1984. It's about these group of kids who sneak away from the school dance. They steal a school bus. The bus breaks down, and they're lost after dark. And they find this abandoned house where there's this guy living in it whose family, local town legend is his family was cannibals, and they were all died except one, and he's still alive. So he's there. That's the story. Which is very much like Friday the 13th meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I said. But it's not a bad little slasher. It follows pretty much all this 80s movies tropes. It changes some things around as to be a little different, which is, I do like that. Robert Patrick is the only main star that you would probably know. But one of the fun things is all the group of teenagers. I don't want to, they're not kids, but you know what I mean. All the teenagers are named after the famous slasher director and their final girl. So we have Sean and Adrian. We have Wes and Heather. We have John and Jamie. So we have, and we have Toby and Marilyn. So they're all in that. And so but the weird thing is, like, everybody pairs up the way they should, except for Jamie and John. So for some reason, they have John with Heather and Wes flirting with Jamie. So I don't know why they did a little switcheroo there, but that's what that's about. So essentially, yeah. And so like Robert Patrick is the vice principal of their school who's tracking them down, trying to find them because nobody's going to get away with drinking beer and sneaking around and stealing the bus on his watch. And of course, the cannibal guy, his name Junior Joe, shows up and he's taking them out one by one, and who's going to be the final girl at the end of the thing. So yeah, there you go. so I enjoyed it. It's a nice little slasher, nice little pays homage, without overstepping its boundaries. So I liked it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has seen it out there. Awesome. I did do yes, thank you. I'm glad you ordered it. I hope you like it, Hollifield, because I did do a video. I did some movies, like movies you might not have seen to watch for Halloween. Some, to give a little suggestions for maybe movies like that maybe nobody talks about. I mean, I like them, so maybe you'll like them. I don't know. This is my little thing. But yeah. Yeah. Robert Patrick, he's pretty good in it. He's pretty funny. He's like this. I was in Vietnam, and he's like one of those type of characters. Is fun, and but of course, when you meet the supernatural, well, he's not really supernatural, but it's very much like this unstoppable madman. Tom and Greg's edition of Physical Media Show hits on all 8 cylinders. All of the host versions are great, but the two of you, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
We try. Thank you, Clark.
Actually, I have a good one to bounce off of that from.
There you go. Go ahead. Go right to it. Because
this is not a homage to the 80s. This is an actual slasher film that came out in the 80s.
All right.
It was definitely a ripoff of insert your Friday the 13th / Halloween here.
Mm-hmm.
But some weird thing happened between the time it was filmed and it came out that they decided to sell it as a thriller, a kinky thriller. And I'll show you what I mean here. The movie's called Girls Night Out.
Oh, yeah.
But it also has another title called Scaremaker. And this is the cover most people are probably associate with the movie. And I don't know if you can read it or not, but like under your picture, it almost makes it look like it's a love letter. I love to be scared. It's her weird and kinky thing. Gets her motor running. That is not in the movie. That's not even remotely what the movie's about. Okay, so like that's the way they tried selling it, and even in the trailer, that's the way they're trying to sell this movie, and it's not.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about this movie is it is such a low-level B movie. Like, and I know you look at it, you're like, oh, that's got to be like a Freddy ripoff. No, it actually predates Freddy by a little bit. But basically, that's just the killer's in a mascot costume, and he's got the knives. He's got like a thing of knives, like Wolverine sticking through, like bear claws. Now you said, yep, like have you seen this one?
Yes. It's been a long time, but I have seen this movie with it's like a teddy bear and the claw. Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's the mascot, but yeah,
the mascot. But I always say teddy bear because that's what it looks like.
But it's like it has like all these weird twists to it, and it's like a fucked up movie in a sense. Like it's barely a movie, but yet it is entertaining enough to keep you watching it. The characters are like almost annoying on purpose in a weird way. It is like they're trying to play into being what they expect a teenager to act like in a horror movie to be, but it just comes off as obnoxious and weird in some places.
Right.
But the movie is basically revolved around the only real actor in it that's a star is Hal Holbrook, and I think his son is in it too, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like this guard at this college, and his daughter was killed a few years back. And that's only important to the story now because the killer that killed his daughter is supposedly out and escaped, and that's kind of like the Halloween-ish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, it just kind of it pulls from all sorts of different places, you can tell. And I mean, overall, it's a standard, basic, fairly decent slasher film. I don't remember there being a shit ton of nudity or anything like that. I think there might be some, but I don't really think there was that much.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the other sideline stories, you have basically these couples that are like in and out of relate. Like there's couples that are breaking up. There's couples that are fighting. So you got all these different suspects popping up as like, well, who killed who or who did what? Because this one guy even says he's gonna make everybody pay, and you're all whores and shit. Like just like all kinds of crazy shit. So like everybody's kind of a suspect. But then Hal Holbrook keeps getting phone calls, and so does the radio station, from this person claiming to be the individual that committed the
Right.
original murder. And there's a twist at the end with the whole thing that's really kind of fucked up, but it's just like, okay, whatever. And I mean, I didn't hate the movie. I didn't love the movie, but it's like such a middle of the road horror movie. I almost wish it was a little bit more batshit crazy, so it'd be easier to make fun of or have some fun with. Because as it stands, it's just kind of like a meh movie. And then the other thing going on at the same time is the scavenger hunt. That's why the radio station's involved, because he's giving out clues to the scavenger hunt for the college kids. So yeah, you got all that shit going on in this film, and it's an oddball feature. It's a weird kind of I don't know how to put it, but is it bad? No. Is it good? No.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen it years ago, so.
And I don't think they have the entire negative or any of the negative. It just says brand new 2K restoration from 35mm vault elements. Well, they used to put vault elements, that usually meant one of two things. That used to mean either they have the negative or they have like an inner positive or something like that. But it's in pretty rough shape. That's why I'm not sure what they had as far as remastering wise. But yeah, no, I mean, nothing really stands out about it that I would say is like anything worth
like
going out of your way to check it out or anything.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've seen it years ago. I remember it being weird. This seems like this was like early 80s, right? Or was it 70?
Yeah, it was shot in like 81 and it didn't come out to like 83, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 80 it was shot, because it was shot right on the heels of like Friday the 13th and Halloween being super popular. Yeah.
You could tell they were trying to like mimic some of that,
prom
the original.
night in there.
Yeah,
a little bit of prom night in there and stuff like that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. Like with the phone calls and then with the twists and the turns, it almost feels like they knew there was something happening with these like movies like that, and they didn't know how to get the formula down for this one.
Well, like they kind of got an idea. It almost reminds me of the Italian movies, but not in a good way, right? Like how they make movies based on what they think the movie is or how it's made, but through their interpretation of it. And that's where you get the goofiness or the funny batshit craziness out of some of those Italian horror films and some of those other things. In this sense, it's clearly Americans doing it, but they're only doing it just because they need a horror movie to sell to a drive-in.
Yeah.
So they're really just a surface level motions of what a horror movie is. And you've got certain characters that sort of work, but other characters that don't work. And it's just kind of like, I think it's Hal Brooks' kid who's playing the main kid, and he looks a lot like a young Kurt Russell, which is kind of weird. But like, so he's like the jock playboy, and then his girlfriend, who's like the only other actor in the movie I think I semi recognize, but I can't remember what I recognized her from. I think she's from Friday the 13th Part 2 or something like that, if I remember right. So I think she played was it Jenny? I think in Part 2, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong or tell me if I'm right in the chat. But yeah, and then otherwise, like, yeah, the rest of the kids are complete unknowns from nobody really stood out to me. But they're just trying to play those stereotypes and tropes of a lot of those characters, and they're just coming off horribly bad in most cases. Not all, but most.
Yeah. Excuse me, I had a cough. I get you. Like I said, it's been it's been a while. I do remember the claws. I remember. I think I remember who the big reveal is at the end.
It's if you, not to give too much of away, I'll say it in the private chat. So yeah.
If I remember, it says Is Amy still Clark the Shark said? I think so. That's what he thinks. Is that the girl you were talking about?
Is that who it is? I think so. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Hal Holbrook. No, Lauren Marie Taylor from Friday the 13th Part 2. So it wasn't the one who played Jenny. My bad. But I guess Julia Montgomery from The Kindred is in it too. So, and somebody from Amityville: The Possession, but I didn't recognize him. So.
I didn't recognize him. I get you, man. Okay, so let's see. Do you want to do another one? Because did you bring the one I have, the other one I have, not the two? Did you bring that other one?
I just
okay, that's okay.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, that
but I
makes
can do
sense.
another
Go ahead, do
one if you
another one
want.
real quick, and then I'll do my.
What's a good one to bounce off of this one from? Let's do this one.
Okay.
This is actually a newer Shit Factory release. Gosh, how do I present this one? Is it an improvement over the Blu-ray? Yes. But as Shit Factory goes, I would just wait till it's more affordable, or they come out with the inevitable Steelbook. And that is Death Becomes Her. A great movie for, if you got kids, especially like girls, like a slumber party for Halloween.
Yeah.
PG-13, slightly horror, slightly comedy. Director of Back to the Future.
Yep.
How can you go wrong? I mean, if you haven't seen the movie already, I mean, do yourself a favor. It's a good film. As far as the Blu-ray goes, we don't get anything new. As far as special features, the same exact shit as before. But the transfer is a new 4K transfer from the negative by, I believe, Universal. It looks all right. There's some spots that are there's a lot of static grain in some bits and pieces here and there. But some of the effects shots looked a lot better than I thought they would, but that's probably because I believe Zemeckis shot them on 70 millimeter.
Right.
So that's probably why. So overall, though, I mean, for one that I was kind of concerned at how it was going to look on 4K, because it's one of those movies we're switching over to CGI era. Some of those shots don't look too bad. I mean, yes, you can tell they're early CGI and stuff like that, but I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised at how well the blend between some of the optics and the CGI and puppetry and the other effects that blended pretty well, and they looked pretty good in the presentation for the most part. Again, I from my memory, because I watched this early last week, because I got it like I think the day after our show or whatever it was, because it actually came out I think last week. But fuck Shit Factory. Yeah, they just released this not too long ago in a standard Blu-ray. But of course, it's a big improvement over that, because I think that was just a re-release of Universal's scan that they had. So.
Yeah, I was curious about that one, because I know, like, I remember the hole.
Wait for a sale, but yeah.
Yeah, like with the when they shoot the hole through Goldie Hawn, or is it which one? Yeah, Goldie Hawn. Yeah, because I remember that looked. You could see the CGI, a little around the edges and stuff, and so I was curious about that.
There's some dodgier scenes here and there, but again, like if you know going into this the era it came out, it is still pretty. Most of the effects still work, still land. If anything, the 4K helps enhance seeing more of the makeup effects, like especially helps with like showing off them doing the multiple layered makeup effect to make them look dead underneath the layer of makeup on top of it, right, peeling off of the paint and shit.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff works. The movie itself still works. I mean, it's been a couple of years since I watched it, but no, I still enjoyed it, and it's got a great atmosphere to it, and it's one of Zemeckis' better films. Definitely in his top 10 for sure, if not top, maybe even top. Well, I don't know about top 5, but definitely in his top 10.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's fun.
I can recommend it, just not Shit Factory at that price.
Right. I love the fact that they're both fighting over Bruce Willis, and this is like not even the best version of Bruce Willis in the movie.
Well, and the thing is, and that's kind of the beauty of the character, right? Is that, and that's kind of what makes it work. And Bruce Willis is almost too manly and too good looking for the role. So they had to really make him uglied him up a little bit. Because otherwise, the perfect person for this role would have been like Rick Moranis.
Right.
Because that's kind of the whole point, is this is a doofy guy who the only reason he's desirable to anybody is because he's a surgeon, right? He's a plastic surgeon.
Yep.
And that's kind of the main point of that, is that he's a schlubby, kind of just dorky kind of character. But no, Bruce Willis, this is probably some of Bruce Willis's best acting.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Like just flat out acting. So yeah.
Yeah, he's really great in this. And this is what I like. I really wish Shit Factory would start doing this, because I'm getting sort of tired of it myself. Is just sell me the 4K. If it's going to be the Blu-ray, it's going to have all the same special features. It's just going to reprint that Blu-ray from the last time, and you're not putting much on the 4K other than maybe some commentaries. Just sell me the 4K. You want to release it like that with that set? Go ahead. That's fine. I'm not saying don't do that, but
I would actually
give me a single disc 4K.
Yeah, I wouldn't bitch if it was like a $17.99 4K only disc, even if it didn't have any of the special features, because I already bought them.
Exactly.
Right before. Because this one, I don't even think has any commentaries, but I've even seen some lately. I don't even think they carry the commentaries over sometimes anymore. I could
Yeah.
be wrong, but I mean, it's just, and it's not just Shit Factory on that one. They're not alone, but you're not wrong, because a lot of the other companies, some of the other companies anyway, have kind of flipped over from quit doing in a Blu-ray and a 4K in the same mix and just putting all the special features on the fucking 4K just so they don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But then you've had the opposite too, where they do a lot like what Shit Factory's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially with because I think they're the biggest offenders. And because I was looking at Shocker. Shocker comes out on 4K, and I do like that movie for his all of its flaws and everything. And I'm looking at him like,
have that this week, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at him like, can I just get the 4K? Because I get the Blu-ray. It's got everything that all the special features. There's no new special features. It's all the same stuff on the Blu-ray, and it's going to be the same Blu-ray. Can I just buy the 4K for like $17.99 instead of having to pay $35? So that's what I'm. But I have not seen Death Becomes Her in a long time. Am I? Oh, there you are. There you. Yeah. It's still not even open.
No, I think I got it on one of their last OOP sales or whatever it was. Which I'm glad. Part of me has saved me so much money from being blocked from there. So I can't imagine. Like, look, that's their fucking problem, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I reluctantly buy their shit now. It's not like I only buy the ones that I really want to watch right away. Otherwise, I wait till they go on sale later or whatever. Because then Amazon will usually match their prices. So,
speaking of which, if you guys missed out on the sale, all those Shout Factory same titles are on sale right now on Amazon.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
for almost the same prices. Some of them are a little more than they were selling them on their sale. But some of them,
I think I looked at
same
it.
prices.
None of them were really that impressive anyway.
Yeah. So if you missed that sale, they're going on. Yeah. But I have not seen Death Becomes Her in a very, very long time. So I may have to wait till that goes on sale and get it because I want to see it again now because it's been a while. No, but like you said, it's
miracle.
It's one of those weird fun movies where it's like you got Bruce Willis, you got Goldie Hawn, you got Meryl Streep, and it seems like a movie that they wouldn't be in, and it works, So it's fun. I like it.
And it's almost so true.
Yeah, it almost is.
Like, as a kid, you see that, or when you're younger, like, God, these women are wacky, and people can't really be like that. Then you get a few girlfriends, and you're like, yeah, they're like that.
Yeah, women are
not all,
weird.
not all,
not all. Some are a rare breed. What can I say? Some are a rare breed that will fight tooth and nail like that. How many gigabytes are the 4K discs they're using, and how big is the video file for the movie?
Oh, I have no idea, to be honest with you, Ron. I didn't check. I think you can look at the disc and tell if it's I can't remember how you tell. I think if it's 100 gig, doesn't it say 100 on it or something like that? But
sometimes
50
they say
gig has nothing. Because this has nothing on it, so maybe they shoved it onto I don't remember. Shout Factory, for the most part, I mean, they get 99% of their scans anymore directly from whoever they're getting them from.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that I can almost not even say shit about anymore. The only one I really went down on and was really pissy about was Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, because I know somebody had to do something with that movie. Because I have an older version of it that looks better. And it's like, what the fuck did you do to it? And I'm the only one who seems to be calling it out. I've read other reviews that it's like, does nobody else not see all this static fucking snail grain and shit going on here? What the fuck?
That's crazy.
And it's one of the worst offenders too. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah, that's crazy. I actually lost a subscriber for putting down Shout Factory with Jim Wynorski.
Tough shit.
Yeah, it was funny because he was like, because me and Jim Wynorski, when we was talking, he put him down too because he thinks they don't know what they're doing with the Roger Corman titles. And the guy was like, you can't be putting down Shout Factory like that. You should be putting down the company that won't put out the Sleepaway sequels. And I'm like, first off, Kino Lorber had no control because it was like they had a big thing about Kino Lorber saying, no, we're not going to put them out. It's like they never had the rights anyways. They were never going to put them out, and somebody else was going to. And guess what? Somebody else is putting them out.
Or they knew the rights were coming up and they weren't going to renew them. So yeah,
Exactly. And I'm like, and we have the right to say bad things about Shout Factory when they're screwing over Jim Wynorski, who did a lot of Roger Corman movies, and they own them over there at Shout Factory, but they're not putting them out because they don't know how to market them. And yeah, you could say that the Corman stuff doesn't sell, but that's because they don't try.
There's only a few companies that I'll flat out say that have yet to disappoint me.
Right.
I mean, Bat Pussy aside, Vinegar Syndrome is one of them. That's not their fault, Bat Pussy.
No, that's not their fault.
Otherwise, I mean, Sony on the studio front is the only studio that I have yet to get a bad release out of.
Right.
And as far as the boutique companies go, I mean, there's more foreign companies that I'll get behind than I will the state ones. Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow, which is technically another foreign company, are like the only two that I almost trust wholeheartedly. Because it seems like even Arrow seems to have the swing that they can sometimes get a raw cut of the 4K scan to where they don't have to deal with certain things. Sometimes it feels like, because there's times they get titles that everybody else is getting that, or they just insist on doing the scan themselves. That's one thing I was told by the boutique titles is that's how a lot of times these studios would amortize their 4K scan, is just have somebody like one of the boutique titles do the scan and all that business and pay for it as part of their deal. And then they ended up, basically getting a free 4K scan of their movie out of it. Because I mean, those scans are not cheap. That's the things people need to understand, is that they're still pretty expensive. So, especially depending on the shape of the movie. Right, that's
and how much cleaning they got to do to it.
All that stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. But anyhow, yeah, Shit Factory is Shit Factory. I'm sorry if you feel that way, but they are one of the worst offenders, especially considering how much they charge compared to what they give you and how much they double and triple dip on shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
And like I said, if they would just, it's fine if they want to release and
make Arrow's not even perfect, but yeah, sorry.
No, Arrow's not. No, you're not wrong. Arrow's not perfect, but I do enjoy Arrow a little more than Shout Factory here lately. But no, like I just wish that if they want to go ahead and release it with the 4K and the Blu-ray disc, like the set you just showed, fine. I don't care. Do that, but can you at least sell us like the 4K, just the 4K disc separate?
Now watch.
I would love that.
Saying this, you know who's going to turn around and start doing this? Kino.
Yeah.
You're like,
you bought the Blu-ray.
That's a good idea.
That's all I'm saying. That's really just all I'm saying, because
the only thing I think it stops them is if they can. I don't know. I know sometimes there's the way that some of these licenses are set up, but yeah, either way. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, if they're just going to give us the same Blu-ray we already bought, at least let the people that bought that Blu-ray just buy the 4K. And for the people that haven't bought it all together, can buy that all together with the Blu-ray and 4K in one pack.
It's bad enough when I got multiple copies of some movies. When I got multiple copies of the same exact disc, it gets even worse.
Exactly. But I don't know if you heard earlier, Brian, Tom said it's in at least top 5, and Bruce Willis is some of his best acting. So I don't know if you missed that.
I don't know about top 5, but at least top 10.
Or top 10, I mean. Yeah, you said top 10.
Because you got the Back to the Future trilogy taking 3 spots alone. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yep.
I mean, maybe then it comes in somewhere behind. It's just probably before Forrest Gump. Behind Romancing the Stone or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's better than Romancing the Stone. It's been a while since I watched that one, so I don't know. I'd have to go back. And I like it's not as good as Used Car, or it's better than Used Cars. For sure. I'm trying to think, because I know he did a couple other ones. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, duh. And then
The Christmas Carol.
Oh, I hated that one. No, anything post Beowulf doesn't count.
And he's still fascinated with that. Now he's even got that Tom Hanks movie.
And then he quietly did that Pinocchio movie that they hit on Disney Plus for his sake, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because,
yeah.
Oh my God. I Want to Hold Your Hand's pretty good, but I haven't seen that one in a while to judge that one. But yeah, so we can move on. Now what do you got?
I'll move on to my big one here that you already showed off, which I should have did a video myself, by the way, but I got my Nightmare on Elm Street. I like this little box. That's why I brought it. Like this little
mine
box.
was kind of crushed.
Oh, was it? I liked it.
Yeah.
I got my little thing here. And then I'll pop it out real quick, set it to the side. Of course, we have the front here. And then the back. I pulled that up a little too much. All right, and then we'll
I
pop
looked
it
at the
out.
back. It's the same thing as the other
Yeah, it's
steelbooks, so it's
yeah.
pointless. It's just that stupid picture that's.
And we got what was your certificate? What did yours have on it again?
Yours is a lower number than mine. Mine was in the 4,000s, I believe.
Yeah, I got the 3,263 of 27,400. Get the certificate of authentication there. Of course, you have the steelbook, which is great.
And I think I figured out how I scratched mine. My fucking Freddy claw when I opened it.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Then we have the inside here. All right, and then of course we have the little. I do like
that red. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the red. I was about to say I do like that red. And then as you pointed out, I'm sure you pointed out with some of these artwork here. Come on, I don't want to mess this up.
Yes, I did. I don't know if you watched that review or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I did. I watched. I was using your chat.
Oh, that's right. You jumped in the chat. That's right.
Yeah. Then of course we have the. I was thinking about framing this one, to be honest. This side at least.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have, was this like the Japanese
what the fuck
or the
with that one? It's like Indian or fucking
Indian or something,
Hindu or some shit.
that,
I've seen that one a few times, but that's a horrible fucking poster. Why did they pick that one? There's at least 2 or 3 other ones, alternate posters for the first film that I would.
I know, and that's the one they give us. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's crazy. But of course we have this, and then like you said, this is the this isn't even from part 1, right? This one.
I'm pretty sure it's from part 3, but some people say it's from part 4. I'm pretty sure it's part 3 though.
It looks like part 3.
I'm usually pretty good with that.
Yeah. Then of course we have the booklet. Tina, Johnny Depp, Heather Langenkamp, Freddie. You know, just pictures. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Honestly, I hate that when they do that and don't have any write-ups or anything in it.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was something.
And then you give us cards on top of it all. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they give us nice lobby cards, but no, you know. And then of course the lobby cards. And like you said, this is from part 3, I believe, as well.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And that's also the same shot they got on the back of the disc too. So
yeah, it is. It is
on the slip card. Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to be a big star.
And I think that's the same fucking picture of him that they have.
Yeah, that's the same one in the book. Same one in the book, and same one of her in the book too.
That is some lazy shit. That's what I'm trying to figure that one out. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. Then the Marge, the mom, and then back to that. Yeah. So there you guys go. There's the big steelbook. I do love this set. Don't get me wrong. I do love
I'm
this set.
bitching a little bit about it. I'm giving it some shit, but no, honestly though, we are quite lucky to have gotten this set the way we did. I guess
I am very, very happy to have gotten it. I was pleasantly surprised as well. It's not the worst scan I've ever seen as well. It's not the worst scan I've
got
ever
a few
seen.
scenes. There's a few scenes, like I said, where there's some static grain and some
I noticed those
other anomalies. But then there's other scenes that look just fucking vibrant and brilliant and look better than I've ever seen them before. I don't know if you noticed the reframing at all. It's very subtle. So I don't know if that's been an issue before. The sound was fixed finally, as far as I can tell. I don't think they missed anything, but they may have missed 1 or 2 things, but I don't think they did. And I did like the Atmos mix outside of a few anomalies like I did bring up last week, where it feels like the music volume is either too high or too low in certain spots, but
Right. But no, you're not wrong. I did notice there was some scenes here and there that looked a little staticky, a little fuzzy, and well, I shouldn't say fuzzy. It didn't look fuzzy, but you could tell.
When I say static grain, what I mean is you have grain that normally is always moving, like on the screen, and if all of a sudden you'll get like grain that just stops moving, and it's just you get crawling dots, where like if like somebody's head moves, the dots will move like a halo with them. And it's like this wobbly blob around somebody. And it's like, when that's happening, that means they've done some type of DNR to that shot or the movie. And I think this is what I was trying to say last week, is they clearly tried to balance out some of the optical effects shots with some of the other stuff. And I don't think they're going scene by scene anymore like they should be for some of these releases. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, they're all the same transfer, Tyrell.
Yeah, Tyrell, it's the same transfer. But no, yeah, I did see it. I thought it looked good, and there was some like soft spots. It's sometimes in the dark, like sometimes certain scenes in certain sections of the dark you could tell was maybe not I don't know. I don't know if that was just me or you. If you noticed that as well.
Some of the night shots looked amazing. There was a couple
Yeah,
of
some of
shots
them looked great, but
there.
there was a few just.
But I noticed that when I noticed the reframing, and this is how I noticed it, is I think that this is the way it's supposed to look, because there's the shot. One of the shots you're talking about that kind of looks a little soft.
Mhm.
Is the shot where she's going to look for Freddy and Glenn's supposed to be watching her and she walks out her front door.
Mhm. Yes.
In the Blu-ray version before this, you could see the spotlight above the house that I don't think you were supposed to see.
Right.
That's supposed to be emulating moonlight. But in this
Right.
version, they have it the move down to where you properly don't see that light. It just looks like it's light coming from above somewhere, whether it's the moon or a street light, not a spotlight. So like you could literally see the crane arm and shit like that with the light on it in the other release. And I'm like, I don't know if that was meant. I just happened to notice it because I was watching it with all the commentaries while I was waiting for this version to come in. And I noticed that it was changed on this version. So I checked back and I'm like, oh yeah, the whole movie is entirely reframed. So I
Right.
think it's now actually where it's supposed to be. I think they fucked up the Blu-ray before is my point.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, like I heard the sound cues, like you said, I heard all the sound cues where it's supposed to be. It does look better than the Blu-ray, so I do think it's worth the upgrade. So if you have a 4K player and you want to get the new 4K, I do think it's worth it. I do. So, but yeah, I was ecstatic to get that set. Like I said, I don't know how lucky we got to keep these, but I'm glad to have the box. I really am. I'm just kind of. I don't know. I like that box for some reason. It's funky. It's something unusual. But yeah, it's great. And as that is the UK one, and as Tom mentioned and stuff, you can actually get a US version of that. But it's actually cheaper to get if you can get the UK version. It's actually kind of cheaper to import it than to go for that. If you can still find it on like Diabolic or Orbit DVD or somewhere like that.
You can still import it from Amazon and it's technically cheaper. That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, or Amazon, it's cheaper, but they do have a US version. Same, it looks exactly the same, but it's a little more expensive because that wasn't really that expensive. It's like $60 for that, which I didn't think was too bad to be honest.
Yeah, the US version's like $89.99.
Yeah, so I was happy to pay. I think it was like 54 something plus $6 in shipping from where I ordered it. So it was only like 60 something bucks, which I was fine with because you get, of course, like I said, you get the nice little set, you get the steelbook, you get the poster, you get the card thing that shows you what edition it is. Yeah, I Blu-ray I don't need the Blu-ray because I got the Blu-ray over here, which I'm fine with it. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, I could say it's well worth it. If you guys want that, if you want to get the standard slipcase edition one, it's same scan, well worth it. Well worth it. I do believe. And I'm excited to see what the other ones hold. Hopefully they're not mishandled because
no, and they should look even better because this one was shot, on such cruddy film. And those are movies I know New Line took absolutely pretty good care of. I only have minor complaints about the set. I wish there was a few more special features and other things that are still missing. I really, really wish they would have put the surround track that Elite did for that Laserdisc. Because I still say that's the superior version. I mean, they got the fucking commentary from that.
Yeah.
And most of the special features all come from there. Basically, they're the same stuff. But there's still a handful of shit from that's missing. You know, it would be nice to have a nice definitive box set too, but we'll see what happens here. I don't know if Warner Brothers will treat it with as much care as New Line did. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I do think if New Line and Bob Shea was still in control, these coming out on 4K, I think they would be absolutely bangers.
They would have been treated. Yeah, they would have been treated as they'd have been a massively huge, awesome box set.
Oh, I get it. It would probably go right hand in hand with the oh, I just had it. Never Sleep Again, the documentary. I would say Bob Shannon would pull out the bells and whistles for all the interviews, all the behind the scenes stuff that they could possibly show you. I really think it would be really great if they.
Well, that original DVD box set is still tough to beat as far as DVD box sets go.
Right. It's still one of the most definitive sets and special features wise and everything.
And they still managed to find some more shit to cram into it in the Blu-ray set, but the Blu-ray set was still kind of a sad sack of a set.
Yeah. I mean, plus they doubled up the movies too. It's like you get one by itself, and then you get like 2 and 3, 4 and 5, and then you get 6 and 7 on one disc and a little bonus disc. So, but yeah, I do wish Bob Shea was still working. I still wish he was New Line. I wish New Line wasn't engulfed by Warner
I think
Brothers.
he's to the point now where he's probably happy he's retired. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty old.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
that's true.
I haven't talked to him in a while, so I don't know. It's been a tick.
That's
I did
true.
talk to him one other time after the interview, but because Andre and I want to do we want to do a documentary about him, but we just haven't had a chance to really talk to him. So,
hey, maybe you'll get lucky and get that done one day. Hopefully.
I don't know, maybe if it's not too late.
Yeah. But there you guys have it. There's my big Nightmare on Elm Street set. And if you haven't, Tom did a video on it. You go over to Midnight's Edge After Dark and watch it after the show. It's a good video. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you guys like that, then I might do more of them.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing one myself. I've been wanting to do, since I got it, I was like, I should do a video. I should do a video. And I kind of, I was playing on it, but I've been kind of been scattered brain lately and trying to get things to do things and stuff. I just haven't focused. I need to focus. I haven't been able to focus this week. So,
Steven, as far as the DVD goes, I don't think so.
Oh.
That might be. I think the DVD was correctly framed. Kind of like the 5.1 mix for the DVD is fine. All the sound effects are there. Why they didn't just use that for the fucking Blu-ray as a basis is beyond me. Like,
right.
Any other time they're that fucking lazy.
This is why we needed somebody like Arrow to come in and do a set.
I'm sorry, but Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the audio is still fucked up on to this day. It has always been.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, for some reason, has ever noticed, and it's on every single fucking release ever, that the audio has been flipped left to right. I think they actually fixed it on the 5.1 mix, though, for the DVD. I have to go back and check again. But every other release I've ever had of that movie has had the left and right channel flipped. And you could fucking tell. And it's like, how does nobody fix this? Because you got shit that's going off to the left side of the screen and the sound's going to the right. And it creates this weird disorientation. And I'm just like, how did nobody ever fucking fix this? I just don't understand.
Yeah. Hopefully they do fix that. I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of weird, though, that Arrow gets Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Freddy versus Jason, but Warner Brothers is going to do all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. It's like, we'll let you have those.
Are those going to be U.S. releases, though?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. We don't know. But what's his name?
That's what I'm curious about.
Guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say the CHH guy found the Jason X card in his Trick or Treat.
Everybody knew. I actually told him it was in there.
Yeah,
because that's where people first found out about it. Yeah,
yeah. I didn't have it in mind.
About it. That's when Adam come out and said, "Yes, we're working on it." And da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's my hunch on this, and I could be completely fucking wrong. This is pure speculation. There was always this thing where everybody talked about they considered Freddy versus Jason not one of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but one of the Friday the 13th films.
Yeah.
So, I think they're going to do a Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 7 on 4K, and it might still have Freddy versus Jason in the set, but I think Arrow's probably paying for that scan.
Yeah.
That's what I think's happening. And for paying for that scan and doing the scan of Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, I think they're doing a trilogy, Jason New Line trilogy set. That's my hunch.
It wouldn't surprise me, like sort of like the Halloween's 6, 7, and
the Once Upon a Time trilogy. Only all of these will be in 4K instead of just one of them. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
It's Jason oriented instead of it being, because I highly doubt they got the rights from Paramount. But then again, because we also just got the Friday the 13th one on its own, so it might even be a quad box set. But yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I didn't get the Jason X in my Trick or Treat.
But Warner Brothers owns the rights to that Friday the 13th remake. That's not a Paramount one. So I was like thinking, I wonder if they're going to get all the Paramount rights too, but I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
Because I think Paramount's planning on releasing one of those every year with their fucking Halloween sets. Probably.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah. I got the cell with Jennifer Lopez in my trick or treat. The cell, that was the card I got in mine. So I wasn't lucky enough to get to Jason
That's
X.
weird.
But yeah,
Because
it's
everybody
weird.
else was, that's where they found out about it. And then he
Yeah, everybody else got
confirmed
it, and I got
and
the
then-
cell. And I'm like, what the fuck?
And then we heard from Rachel Talalay, which that's the thing is I highly doubt, maybe, unless there's this offshoot chance that Arrow talked Warner Brothers into doing a Psycho type of box set by basically they'll use their Nightmare on Elm Street that they already released, kind of like how Psycho came out in 4K first, and then Arrow did a 4-pack with all 4 of them, and it literally is just the Universal disc put in there basically.
Yep.
So maybe that's what they'll do. Something like that. But that'd be a long shot in the dark. But if Arrow managed to get a Nightmare box set, that is a huge fuck you to Shaw.
Oh, well, it wouldn't surprise me because the guys that found it, Scream Factory, work for Arrow now, and he admitted that they were working with Warner Brothers to try and get it at Shout Factory when he was there, but they would never really, because he said he had conversations with them, but they never really would come off of it. But
I can see them selling that concept to them.
Right.
Like you release Nightmare on Elm Street for the 40th anniversary, and the next year or the year after, we'll get a full-fledged Nightmare on Elm Street box set out of them. But then Freddy versus Jason will be in with Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell, probably.
Yeah. Yep.
And then maybe it'll be in with the other one too. I don't know, but they might double dip us on that one. You never know. But
you never know.
That's just because they like to make sure everybody gets everything, just in case you're a different fan of something, which is fine by me. I'm not going to complain about it. It's just, I already got enough copies of some shit that I don't need another one. But
don't blame me. Me too. All right, let's go to you. Do a different one, and then after that, we'll both do the one we have together. So,
Victor, that Shout Factory box set was done way back when those people were still around, wasn't it?
I think that was like the last thing they worked on.
I only got 2 left, and one of them is the one we're sharing, right? So do you have one more left, or you just those?
I just have the one we're sharing. That's left.
Okay, so we'll do those last. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So my other one I did is I broke down, and even though I'm on kind of I'm on a streak right now where I'm not a big fan of this guy, I decided to watch a Stephen King movie. And the one I chose is actually one of my favorite books of his. And it is Needful Things, which recently got a 4K release from Kino. Which the cool thing about this is, and I do have the old Blu-ray too.
Nice.
Is the 4K scan isn't even really the highlight, believe it or not. The big highlight is that you get the TV cut on the Blu-ray, although the TV cut is in standard def, which is kind of a bummer. But I had never seen the TV cut before. I was not aware that there was a 3-hour fucking cut of this movie.
Neither was I till they announced
I want it in 4K.
Is good? Is the 3-hour cut good?
It's good. Well, it's like the book almost. Like,
right?
Look, Stephen King's distilled down into the movie. Needful Things is one of the better ones because guess what? It has a decent fucking ending. For once, King nailed the ending. You can't kill the devil.
Exactly. You can defeat him, but he ain't going. He's still out there. You can't defeat him.
Yeah, he's just like, good show. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you got me, but I'll be back to get your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Grandkids or whichever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still. No, I mean, it's a fun movie to begin with, but the 3-hour version is like almost a completely different version of the movie because the theatrical cut runs a hard 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
The TV cut is 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Wow.
And it feels like such a different movie because even stuff is cut in different orders to match up with it. Although there's still some flubs and fuck ups. And I'll get just minor shit because they obviously changed they changed Huck Finn to Treasure Island in some reshoot, but they forgot to change the line later on.
Oh.
Because they have like a bunch of times so like basically expands on all the stuff we've seen, plus adds in characters and events that we didn't get to see in the other version. So it's just a much more wider, expanded version. Now the 2-hour version still does a really good job of distilling it down, but it's just a very distilled down version of the movie. Right. Because it is one of his better reads. I don't know if people agree with me or not, but when when I read Needful Things, I've read that. That's one of his few novels I think I've read more than a couple times. I've read that I think 3 or 4 times. It's
Yeah,
such
it's
an
good.
easy read. It's just you flip, and it's only like 500 pages, and just breeze through. It's a great read.
It
And
is.
just the way the story is integral and the way it's set up, and just the way that you know, the devil comes into this little town and just wreaks fucking havoc by doing nothing more than just giving people their desires, and it's all their free will, right? Because you
Right.
even got that great scene with the priest where he, you know, Ed Harris's character asks him, and I'm pretty sure it's in the book too, where he's like, you know, is can the devil make you do things and da da da? He's like, no, we have free will, right? Although, you know, it's kind of like this thing. It's like he's twisting people at the same time because of that desire and that thing and that need. And the most
Mhm.
innocent of the bunch, of course, is the kid, is the first one who really figures it out, right? So, like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A good night, Dragonzilla. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better, man.
And of course, in the book, in the obvious original version of the movie, the kid doesn't survive.
Yeah. Leave it to
You
good old
have Ed
Stephen King
Harris, you
about
can
that.
see it's dubbed over. It's like the kid shot himself, and it's like, and it's like, yeah. Instead of he says he shot himself instead he killed himself, because you can see in the mouth he's saying killed, and instead they dubbed it over as shot himself.
Yeah. But that's it's pretty
Oh,
good.
JT Walsh. Oh my God.
yeah.
This fucking A. Does he own this movie besides, I mean, if between him and Max von Sydow, I mean, those two chewing the scenery in this movie. I
Mhm.
just killed my wife. Was that wrong?
I mean, he just like literally tears apart this town, and he actually does nothing. That's the thing of it. It's like that's what makes it so scary and stuff. It's like he's literally just there, and they come and talk to him, and he's sort of like, okay, well, here you go. And then like he tears apart this whole fucking town just by doing that. It's insane.
I know, it's a brilliant setup, and I think it's a post-cocaine King book, which is strange. It's one of the few really, really good ones he did, but it might be why it's so easy to digest, because it is. So, I mean, as big as it is in the book, I do remember, it's been quite a few years since I've read the book, but I do remember that movie adaptation being, it's like not perfect, but I'm like, it does do a pretty darn good job of getting the main beats of everything that's in the book. But now seeing this 3-hour version, I've fallen in love with it, which sucks, because now I'm not going to want to watch any other version than this. It's at a very inferior, because some shots look really good, and they warn you in the outset right away, right? They're like, we tried to upconvert it, did create some anomalies, be forewarned. So some shots look really good, almost Blu-ray quality. Other shots look like fucking chaotic lines and shit all over the place, or something else going on. But nothing that really takes you out of the movie too much. Plus, the other side of this is the movie was obviously shot in an open matte format for, you know, just to be cropped off. So they have that TV version in the open matte, even though you can see the mic in a couple scenes, I think. But
Small price to pay, at least for on that front. But no, it is. It's one of those movies. It's just so.
Well,
so
and if you
good.
haven't seen it, the original movie doesn't even start technically until like 20 some minutes into this version.
Yeah, I've not seen the TV cut yet.
Like it's really weird, because like there's whole swaths of the film where it's just like long moments of gestating things that we don't get. Like you can see where they cut, but it's like, I mean, there's bits and pieces here and there, but then there's just whole scenes, whole cloth characters, whole bunches of stuff that you're like, Jesus Christ. It isn't until you get about 2/3 of the way into the movie where you finally starting to get most of the stuff that's in the theatrical cut. And like the last half hour is almost exactly the same. Almost. There's still some extra bits here and there. But at that point, it's like, you know, you can't really take out much more than what's. They add in a few things that go in with other stuff before that was cut out, but it's just very minor little segments here and there of more fights and stuff between people that you actually know who they are now, who are excised from the other version because you never got to see them before. You know, like,
yeah.
Now
I
also
wanna
answers some of the questions of like who did what to who and some other bits too. So yeah.
Right. Now I want to watch this one. I haven't seen the 3-hour cut.
Just be
I've never
prepared that
got
it
to
is like a lower quality DVD-ish. It
Well, you
looks
know.
like tape, but yeah.
You know, I could watch a VHS. So
Actually, I take that back. It's like basically Laserdisc, but somewhere between Laserdisc and DVD quality, somewhere in there.
okay. It's not too bad. I could handle that.
And it is edited for television, so keep that in mind. But it's funny to see that the period that this came from, because they cut out most of the swears,
Uh-huh.
but hardly any of the violence. And in fact, there's one or two more extra shots of violence. Like they show more of the dog and shit in this version that's not in the other one. Like extra bits of that scene. Like
Yeah, that,
so,
that tells you how times have changed, right? We
'Cause I
won't
don't
allow
think
the
they
cuss
show-
words.
yeah, because they show her finding the dog, right? But in this version, they actually show the cops finding the dog too. And I don't remember if they showed that in the other version. So there's a lot more of Ed Harris just like in between stuff, doing investigations and stuff. There's a little bit more with the kid here and there, and like he's actually on the scene. Like there's whole like bits like just before, like, and you'll see like, how did they cut all that out? Like, how did you jump from that to there? I mean, you could see where they managed to cut it, but it was just like, wow, how did they do that? Like, how did you still manage to make this movie coherent and get rid of all that stuff? It's
Yeah,
just beyond me.
it's crazy, but that's funny though. Like to see
Yes,
that.
it was directed by Charlton Heston's son. That's true.
Yep. Yeah.
It was supposed to be the last Castle Rock story too, but then King lied about that, I guess.
He's in another one of the. Is it? I know that sheriff is the Ed Harris sheriff. He's in a
Harris?
lot. I can't. Not Ed Harris himself, but the character he plays.
Oh,
Is
there's
it-
a couple
is-
characters that are crossed over, but they aren't in the movie. Like Ace was supposed to be in this story, but he's not.
Yeah.
Character from It.
Yeah.
In fact, they just amalgamized his character a lot with J.T. Walsh's and a few other the kid who or the guy who was who wanted the football jacket.
Yeah.
I remember that, and yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if he is in this movie per se. They may have changed his name. I'm trying to remember now, but yeah, there is characters that cross over in this one.
Yeah. Ed Harris's character is in the Dark House
Flag.
in the
Or
movie
Dark
and the
Haven,
book.
yeah,
Yes.
And I can't remember if this is because I think it's still technically supposed to be the same devil that Flag is too, or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, I think.
Although it's a
Yeah, I
different-
think Randall Flagg is. Yeah.
yeah.
What's his initials again in that movie? If I remember, what's his name in the movie? Needful
Oh.
Things.
It's Goff or Gout or what the hell is it now? I just freaking had a brain fart. Oh shit. Leland Gaunt.
Yep,
That's
I think that's an alias of Randall Flagg, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they put the original poster back because this is one of those 90s posters that went fucking hard.
Yeah,
Like that
I
was
like that.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
And then for video though, and the inside is the same as this, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that.
the only thing is like, yeah, the crappy video cover. It's like, oh man, give me that's
this
the
one.
fucking poster.
That's with the
That's
bad.
some going hard shit. That was even before the Frighteners and shit, right? Like, yeah, that's the way you do a poster there. So no, I enjoy this movie. This is one of my definitely higher up there Stephen King stories.
Yeah.
And we do get a new hey, fuck Shout Factory. We even get a new special feature besides, because all this Blu-ray here is the original Blu-ray. All it's on here is the movie and an audio commentary from the director. That's it.
Right.
On this new 4K, we get the movie, the television cut, and an interview with the writer, The Devil's in the Details, which is like a 20-minute interview with him.
Nice.
Which was fairly insightful. Not like blow your mind insightful, but you find out that when he came onto the picture, he just couldn't work with what they had, so he completely rewrote it from the top.
We gotta fix this shit.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. He's like, he comes in, he's just like, yeah, no, I can't work with this. And he was really interested in seeing the new version, or not the new version, but the TV cut, because he's like, I haven't seen the movie since it came out. And he goes, and once you kind of turn these things in, you kind of just disconnect yourself from them, because otherwise you drive yourself crazy. Going, well, why did they change that? Well, why did they leave that in there? Why did they take that out?
Yeah.
Why did they make that decision? Why, it's like, so he's like, now I can watch it with kind of fresh eyes, especially the extended cut, not remembering what was cut out and what was in there before. So yeah. Because that's basically be pretty much verbatim what his script probably was. Because he said he turned in like I want to say 190-page script, which would roughly be around 3+ hours in that region. So yeah.
I would say like his books are that there's some of his books are better, and I would say some of the movies are better.
Very few, but like like as far as
very few, but
one that
there's
sticks
not.
out to me is the one that always gets everybody's goat or debates about, but I will not budge on, is the Shining movie is better than the book. I don't care. The only thing Kubrick got wrong is he shouldn't have killed what's his face, the black guy.
because they build that up so much in the movie.
I know, that was the only
he's
thing I
coming to help, and
disagree
then
with
just
Kubrick.
right there, he's dead.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, I like his ending better because that's King's biggest problem is he doesn't know how to fucking finish a book.
He doesn't,
Otherwise, his best adaptations aren't his horror films. It's
the
Body,
Green Mile's great.
Green Mile,
Shawshank
obviously
Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption, Misery is kind of more in the leaning into it, but even that's a little farther away from the. But it like those other three we mentioned there, the Green Mile, Shawshank, and Stand By Me are the closer ones to his books at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Carrie would probably be next in line there, pretty close to the book, but not exactly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff missing, but most of the main beats are there. Christine wasn't horrible.
No, I like Christine, but
it's missing a lot, but it's not horrible. Cujo's missing a big chunk of the beginning of the book. It is the redheaded stepchild of the bunch because the TV version is still the superior version. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
I agree with you 100%.
That they just didn't fundamentally understand the story in that new version. And,
yeah. I know you like the second one, but the second one to me is
dislike it. I just feel like it had a better ending than I expected it to have. I kind of like the whole making him small thing. Like, it just does it work on a grand scale? Probably not. But I mean, considering the ending of the book and the ending of the original TV movie are the weakest points, they managed to actually make the ending of part 2. They pulled off the ending. That doesn't mean the rest of the movie is. And the first
that's
movie
true.
sucks.
You're not wrong there. Yeah, but that movie, I don't know. They're just too many flashbacks to the kids as well.
They should have just done it the way that Tommy did it. Because even he said that was fucking stupid.
Yep.
That was his response to me when I told him they shot the first part and now they're going back and shooting the second part. And he's like, so they didn't shoot all the kids stuff first?
Right, because they grow and everything.
He's like, and his response was, well, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. And then they even had to use the de-aging technology on the damn kids.
Because he's like, I
tell in some spots.
I was on a time clock, right? He's like, I got these kids all at the wrong time, right? Because they're in that 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old range, the worst time to have a kid actor. Because you never know when one day they're going to come in and they're a foot taller and all of a sudden they sound like this. Or they've got tits.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, fuck! What do we do?
Exactly. What do we do?
And that's exactly what happened to It too. And it's their own fucking fault. They knew they were shooting 2 parts. Why they didn't just shoot all the kids stuff first up front is beyond me. Exactly. It would have made more sense for both parts. Doesn't fucking matter. Then you just save it in the vault for part 2.
Exactly.
Or you should have just not even had any flashbacks in part 2, but then it makes your second part fucking tougher, doesn't it? Because that's what Tommy Lee ran into, is that the second half of the movie and the second half of the book are boring.
Yeah.
Because nobody gives a shit about them when they're adults.
Yeah, that's the most popular section of the book is the kids section. Which I know that sounded a weird way I said that, but that's the truth.
It is. Well, not the second kids part, but you know.
Not that one. I like the Stand. I still think the TV movie.
The 94 version's the superior version. That fucking version they came out with, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah,
now?
that's horrible.
Horrible. And the way King rewrote the ending was just asinine.
And it's like the third time he's rewrote that ending.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
Because the original novel had its original ending, and then he wrote another ending for when they'd expand it, which I have that. I have that one, the expanded version in hardback. And then now he rewrote the ending.
No, and that's why I stand by Needful Things, because as far as I remember, it's pretty similar to what happens in the book. I mean, there's a few more players involved, like Ace and all that kind of shit, but otherwise, pretty much the whole town gets fucking demolished, and the devil's like, good show, see you next time. Like,
yeah. It's Running Man. The Running Man is a great movie, but it's nothing like the book.
Yeah. See, that's another one where it's like kind of hard to, then you got all the ones that are in between, you know, there's some that are okay, but then it's like, yeah, the movie's fine, but it was a shitty book to begin with. So the fuck? Then you got the exceptions to the rule, like Dolores Claiborne, where both are fucking amazing. The book is amazing and the movie's amazing. And how they're so different from each other and still yet so amazing is beyond me. But like, if Kathy Bates ever deserved a second Oscar, it was for fucking that movie.
Yeah.
And now that's how you do a strong female character story right.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know if have you seen it, right? The
Dolores
Kathy
Claiborne.
Bates.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
fuck yeah, that's
yes.
a great fucking
I've
movie.
seen, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. That's like you said. It's another one of those that's not like a real horror picture.
Well, because the book
So-
is all her diary, basically. It's all Dolores Claiborne, or it's her. Is it her? It's either her diary or her confession. I'm trying to remember which. It's been like 20 years since I read the book, but it's basically all her first account. It's all just from her telling of it. So it's in a completely different context than what the movie is. And a lot of different events happen and things happen in different ways, but the same idea and semblance is there. And the way the movie did, I don't know how. It's just really weird. But I actually like the movie kind of better than the book in that respect. I don't know.
No, I get you. I get you. I always liked Silver Bullet. I really do. I really, really like Silver Bullet.
Yeah, Cycle of the Werewolf is one that I think I've read years ago, but I think the movie handled it a little bit better if I remember right.
Yeah.
There's some beats and bits that I think that I wish was in the movie, but I mean
Yeah,
that's another one they haven't revisited, is it? So like,
no, they have never gone back, which I'm surprised. Not that I would clamor for a remake, but I mean,
I'm surprised they haven't. Yeah,
there's enough in there where you could probably do a pretty good werewolf movie out of it today. But
I'm surprised it never got a weird sequel like Pet Sematary 2.
yeah, that's true. I don't know if you've seen this. Speaking of which, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I don't know if you've seen this. I thought it was hilarious. I gotta find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, there's werewolves out there.
I'm really surprised they never did do like there's certain ones I'm surprised never like Children of the Corn got like
17,000 of them. It's been remade, I think, twice now. Like not just once, but I think twice now. I think, and I think that one's just a cheaper one. That's why,
yeah.
The rights have gone around the rosy on that one a few times. And then King even has a list of books that he'll sell you the rights for $1.
Yeah, his dollar babies, he calls them or whatever. But how would you like to have seen that?
Don't go in there.
It was somebody said, I'm surprised we never got a 90s Shining sequel on straight to DVD.
There's all kinds of ghosts.
Lance Henriksen, Billy Blanks, Jennifer Bills, Gary Busey.
My brother came up here and almost killed his whole family.
That would have been hilarious.
Because of course they've got to have some tangential connection, right? So
yeah, you got to have it all together. I'm looking for it.
My brother wasn't crazy, and I'll prove it by going crazy myself and doing the exact same thing, so that the movie looks exactly like the first one.
Except we're going to throw in somebody where you can actually have a fight scene.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
because it's paranormal investigator named Phil.
And then, of course, since it's straight to DVD, there's going to be that one weird love scene where they just so they can put boobs in the movie. So
and then the movie breaks down because even though the name of the character is like Bill or something in the movie, he insists every time he does the "Here's Johnny" scene is "Here's Gary." It's like, no, your name's Bill. I'm not doing it that way. Just not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. Where's Mr. Pumpkin at?
We'll just dub him over later. Just go.
He'll never know.
And he insists on doing the stair scene 76 times, not because he gets it wrong, just because that's the way Kubrick did it.
Yeah. I got to do it 76 times.
That's the way Kubrick did it. Then you got him in some weird interview where he's like, we're not trying to remake The Shining, and this is more than a sequel. This is an equal. This is a beyond. And I got Kubrick sitting on one shoulder here, and he's telling me in my ear what I should do. And it's how I'm channeling the character. And it's amazing. And I swear I'm gonna fucking kill somebody by the end of this movie. For real, not for fakes, for real. It'll be the first movie in history where the star kills somebody in the making of the movie. Because the making of the movie will make me go crazy because Kubrick's on my shoulder. Can't you see him there? He's a little version of him. He's just a little guy.
We was talking about a possible Shining 2 starring Gary Busey VHS Massacre.
The Shining.
The Shining 2, The Shining or more.
There's more shining to it.
There's more Shining. I think Gary Busey's retired. I think he's out. If not retired, he's just too crazy to hire.
And I made sure that we found an actual haunted hotel to shoot this in. I had it verified by a priest that this is haunted. And I said, don't you dare exercise it till we're done. So
I think them ghosts on screen.
Real ghosts. Real horrors. Real souls. Have you ever ate raccoon pudding?
Too shiny, too Busey.
That's right.
Have you ever raccoon?
And at the end, I'm smiling, frozen in the sand.
Well, on that note,
This is my buddy, Mr. Pumpkinhead. He is an incredible friend, especially this time of year. Halloween! Love you, Pumpkin.
Halloween.
The little at the end is what makes it.
I'd hate to see what they cut off there because you see where his head goes, and then it
He's
cuts
gonna
away.
stick his dick in that pumpkin.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna become one with the pumpkin. I left the seeds in, and I'm gonna give it my seed, so our seeds will blend and make a Gary Busey pumpkin baby.
Abusekin.
A bumpkin.
Bumpkin. Oh, good God, man. We were from Needful Things to talking about Gary Busey.
Fuck, I should have been in this movie.
I'm going to play the devil. I'll show you how to play the devil. This is how you play the devil.
Devil likes it rough.
Halloween.
Halloween. Anyway, speaking of Halloween, I think that's
yes,
a good place
great segue there.
to
Go ahead and
segue into our finalities.
I'll show mine up first, and then you can show yours. So I rewatched these, and Tom watched them for the first time, and that would be Terrifier 1 and 2.
Oh, I don't have the 4K, but I
Oh,
did
you don't have the
pre-order.
4K?
I did pre-order the steelbook that has the 4K of 1 and 2 in it.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Is the part 1 going to be in 4K, or is it still Blu-ray?
As far as I know, that version is going to be the 4K release of Terrifier 1.
Okay, because I may have to get that then, because I went the 4K of the first one, and you can go ahead
I'll
show
send
yours.
you the link. And yeah, I just got the these sent to me by, I believe it was Scott. If I'm remembering wrong, I apologize. But one of the major fans we have that's always sending me goodies, and I appreciate it. And as I told him, I would watch these for Halloween, and I did.
Lucky.
And yeah, so you've talked. Have you talked about them before?
Yes.
I've never seen
last
All Hallows
Halloween.
Eve yet either, so I don't.
Neither have I, but I thought about buying it.
It's expensive still, but yeah.
No, I see it for $16.
Yeah,
On
that's still
Blu-ray.
too expensive for an old movie for me.
Yeah, especially if you don't know if you like it, because I know Art the Clown is not
Yeah.
the same guy. It's not the same guy.
And I kind of have an idea, and I even asked around. I'm like, is it even really important?
It's not.
That's what I've heard, because I almost thought, and this is kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I almost thought there was like some hinting going on in part 2 that the character was connected. Like we may have seen the father character or something like that in one of the shorts, but I asked around, and everybody's like, no, they have nothing to do really with everything. So
All I know is from like there's a few nods in the first Terrifier to the All Hallows Eve, the first one, like the circus sign that he puts on the girl is in All Hallows Eve. Yeah. But so what did you think? Because we talked about these before, because on paper and from everything we've heard, and I heard before I watched them, was like these movies do not seem like they would be my type of movies. Like with the gore and like the meat, like you've heard they were mean spirited and stuff. And then I watched them and I thought to myself, these were not at all what I expected. And
y'all
there's
are
something about them I like. Yeah,
not y'all like listening, but y'all in the like out there in the ether going like, oh my god, this is so gory and horrible, and you'll never see anything like it. It's like, have you seen Cannibal Holocaust?
I will say there's
have you seen
things...
Faces of Death? Have you like fuck you? I've seen shit that'll turn you white compared to this. This is a walk in the park. No, I enjoyed these films quite a bit, actually. I have some issues here and there with them.
Yeah, I have used things.
but I totally see you brought up a Nightmare on Elm Street connection with them, and I totally see that.
Especially in part 2.
Just the intro of both films is a clear
but yes, exactly,
homage to Nightmare 1 and Nightmare 3.
Mhm.
The first film I thought was almost a damn near perfect slasher movie.
It was pretty good.
It cuts through the fucking fat. There's absolutely nothing here that doesn't need to be here. It keeps you interested. Even without being able to say a word. Art is charming while also sadistic, and you kind of want to see him relish in his sadisticness. It's almost kind of perverted in that way.
He's got this weird, like... No, go
ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's got like this weird thing where he's like, he comes off, he's very funny in the way he like smiles and moves, and then how like serious and mean his face can get. I really enjoyed that.
It almost makes me want to see somebody crack the code, right? It almost feels like there's a code that if you fucking react to him the way he wants you to react, he's not going to kill you.
Yeah, it almost feels like that, right?
But we've yet to see that happen, right? Like, it almost feels like at some point somebody's going to crack the code and he's just going to walk away just fine. It almost felt like that crazy lady did for a minute until he killed her, right? But then, and that's in, part 2 or whatever. But
part 1.
Was that part 1?
Yeah, with the goose.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because I watched these like back to back, and I watched part of part 2 over 2 days, and then sorry, but yeah, the way these feel like almost the same damn movie at the same time, it's kind of funny like that. But no, the first film felt like really tight. The only time it took me out is when he used a gun. Just felt very impersonal.
I will go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to
go ahead if you agree.
No, I was gonna say I know I get what you're getting at, and I did like the surprise of it because I said you don't expect that in a slasher movie, so I did like the surprise when he pulled it out and he shot her. What I didn't like, because how you said it's impersonal, I didn't like that he kept shooting her and then went back, got a clip and shot her again. I thought maybe, after it jammed or whatever, he'd go back to being like with the knife or something and get back to like the slasher is.
They just don't work for slashers for me. The only time they seem to work is Chucky, just because he's got difficulty with...
Yeah.
Look, it works for him, especially because you can get him a little cute gun. And it just seems to work for Chucky because he's already was a gangster to begin with, kind of thing. So like that just kind of works. And in Scream, it works in a weird way when it shouldn't. That's like one of the few times, but it's when they break character. That's the only time they use a gun, right? It's only when they're not Mr. Ghostface anymore. But Ghostface himself never uses a fucking gun.
Right. I did like the surprise. I won't lie, because like when she's got him down,
I really disliked it even more in the second film, even more so. The first film, it just felt completely out of fucking place.
I just kind of like the surprise at first when he pulled out, and then I thought maybe he was like, okay. Now
and then the more you learn about him being like this supernatural thing where he can just kind of like regenerate in some kind of way, spoilers, it almost kind of makes it feel even worse that he uses a gun.
I was just thinking about that myself as well, because some people ask me like, well, is he supernatural or is he human, because they've never seen
it.
Obviously
supernatural.
He's obviously supernatural, but the way I see it is, if you watch the first movie, like I said, I've not seen All Hallows Eve or anything, but I know you don't have to. But if you watch the first movie and after you watch the second one, I haven't got to the third one yet, which I do want to see. It feels like the first movie is a ritual for him to become whatever he's becoming, because he's obviously something from hell or has made a deal with the devil or something. As the more you get into it, especially with the second one, because it plays into angels and demons.
Maybe,
but it almost feels like, like the reason he picked these girls and what he does to the one girl and everything, it almost feels like a ritual to get him that supernatural power almost.
But then again, I mean, I don't know if that was always part of the plan, but I don't. If that's maybe the case, it feels like they retconned it then in part 2, because then you get to part 2 and it's clearly obvious that art is part of something that's been around for a long time.
Exactly.
Because like it keeps coming, and you even have that great scene where he cleans himself up too, because you always make you wonder, go like, He's gonna just sit there and covered in blood forever. How do you clean his outfit? You know, it's like
Yeah. Yeah, I remember because I saw that. I think it might be on the special features I watched on the second one or not, but I did see that Damien Leone said he wanted to show that because he always seen in slasher movies, like when they get to the second movie,
it's one of the best scenes.
Right? He said, so I wanted to show how he cleans his outfit, what happens, how he gets back to being all fresh for the sequel. So it is great
It's
when
funny
he
as
does it.
shit. That's the beauty of it. It has a great sense of humor. It is not as mean-spirited as I think people think. Like, again, I think that if you're somebody who watches a lot of these horror movies and you're somebody who hasn't seen these yet, don't be turned off by the idea that these are like a Hostel /Saw /torture porn thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They have more in common with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween films than they do any other films. Especially the second one, like you said. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I kind of like to call them super slashers. Not in the sense that he's like more powerful than Michael, because Michael Myers, they're all unstoppable. It's just super slashers. Like, yeah, the gore is there. It's more gory than those movies, but that's what I mean by super, because it's amped up a little bit, and it's not like over the top hostile.
Yeah, it's a Sam Raimi kind of almost Evil Dead, not quite there, but that we're gonna wink, wink, have fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing to it. I mean, yes, the gore is realistic. Yes, there is some over the top moments, but they play like a Verhoeven or a Raimi kind of thing. Yeah. That's the difference. It's so over the top, so crazy that it almost reaches the point of absurdity to where you can kind of laugh along with it. Mm-hmm. And most of these characters are such fodder at the end of the day. You really don't start to care too much about them until. And that maybe is why I didn't like the gun part too, is because you actually start to care about that character so much.
Right. And
she
the way deserves
she
better.
Goes out. Yeah, like, and the way she goes out is kind of like, wow, that's fucked.
Yeah. It's like, because she was.
That's the only time the movie felt like it went mean-spirited to me.
Mm-hmm.
In the second film, I guess the gun part works a little bit better-ish, because they also call back to it by the kid bringing it back, not to get too deep into it, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, in the second film, though, I liked, but I didn't like as much as the first film, but I liked it better in certain other ways. In the sense that I like the characters better, yeah, obviously, but it's so fucking overbloated. So long, and it did not need to be. And there's some stuff here that you could have gotten rid of, and it feels like it takes too long for the story to get going. Although it is watchable, don't get me wrong. But it just feels kind of just bogged down. And I think you explained that people had complained about the first movie having not enough story to it. And I'm like, what the fuck are they complaining about?
Exactly.
The first movie's a perfect fucking slasher film. 87 minutes in and out or whatever it is. Like, yeah. Or 82 minutes or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I agree with you. When I was rewatching, because I only ever watched them last Halloween. This is the first time I watched them. And I hadn't watched them again till just now. So this Halloween. And I do think I like the first one a little better, but I do think there's a lot of stuff in the second movie that is really, really good. He just overbloated it, and he kind of maybe shouldn't have. Look, I get it. You were fed up with the studio system. You created this. You created something that clearly you've tapped into something that people love for these type of movies. He's
definitely done something that hasn't been done since like Freddy or Chucky, basically.
Exactly. And maybe you shouldn't listen to all that criticism. I know because he got some crap for saying that first one didn't have enough story. So he was like trying to showcase, because what he is by nature is he's a special effects guy by nature. That's what he did.
I kind of figured that part out.
Because he does all the special effects and directs the movies and writes them himself. He does all that. He's the lead special effects guy, everything, practical effects, all that. So he was trying to showcase that he could actually write and tell a story a little more. And that's why we get the sort of the overbloatedness of the second movie. And I know the third movie is like 2 hours as well, but he did say after that, he said they're going to go back to the 80 something 90-minute movies, because he said he don't think slasher fans can handle much more 2 hour long movies. And I think maybe he wants to get it back on to a a normal sized movie. But yeah, I don't like some of the shit stuff with the actual shit when they shit. I don't like that. Just to give you some of the stuff I don't like. I do think the bedroom scene in the second movie with that girl goes on a little too long with her, but that is just It's crazy. And let's see what I was thinking of. I do like how like certain characters become a little more important as the story goes on. For anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm interested to see where certain things go. But have you didn't watch the third one yet, did you? I know you said you were possibly going to go see it. I think I lost them. But no, I the second watch around from last Halloween to this Halloween, I think these movies grew on me a little more because, like I said, I did have some problems with them, but now the more I watch them, the more I get into them, the more that I just feel like they are really great. Just like there's something about them. There's definitely something about Art the Clown that really helps these movies along, and there's just something about them. There's something about them that I think has tapped into something we haven't seen since the 80s. And like I was saying in one of like I was saying in one of my things, like somebody was in my comments was saying that they don't really feel like elevated horror and some of these other horror movies that we've been getting like feel like the next evolution of horror. They say they felt like the Terrifier movies feel like the next level of horror, the next evolution of horror, because it's giving you something familiar and something that people have always liked, but also still feels fresh, because they do feel fresh, even though they're like we see the Nightmare on Elm Street influences heavily on these, and then like I'm sure with the Christmas one, there's a lot of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, or whatever. I know there's a Black Christmas nod in the new one. Even though they're giving those nods to it, it still feels fresh, and it feels like something that we don't get a lot of anymore. So that's the way I see it, and
yeah, it'll be some of the most profitable films ever when it's all said and done.
Exactly, and so I've been debating, because like I will admit, and I've said before, and it's in my videos, I'm not a fan of kids being killed in movies. That's one of the reasons why I don't like Christmas horror movies. But I did hear from the director, he said that he would never actually show. So I don't know about the third one, so I don't know if this is true or not. So, but I did hear say he would never actually show a child being on screen. It doesn't mean that they don't die in the movie or get killed in the movie, but he would never actually show it like how art does to people on screen. So that made me feel a little better. So, because that's one of my biggest.
I know there was
views.
some talk about it, but to me, it depends on how it's handled.
Exactly, like because it's not like I haven't seen horror movies like we've talked about. It's been in horror movies. That's just one of the reasons you can make a scary movie scary is like when a kid goes out. Like it never bothered me in The Blob, but like there's something about the Christmas setting that with a kid that kind of like the innocence that so like with this Halloween or other stuff like that, it doesn't. In certain settings and stuff, it doesn't bother me, but certain things, like even which is it's very mean. But you sort of laugh at that scene
again,
as well.
Yeah, like it all depends on how it's fucking
very
handled.
mean, but you laugh at it.
Again, yeah, it all like I in this case, I'm willing to give the director what's his name Damien
Leone
or whatever Leone.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give him kind of a little leeway now to see what he's willing or what he can do with this third film, even if he does something like that. Like I said, the only times he felt like he was taking me out of the movie was just the gun bits. Mm-hmm. And even that with the second film, at least he made it work a little bit better. Because at least in that, it makes more sense why he's doing it. Right? Because that's what took me out of it in the first film. And I hate beating this to death, but this is the only thing I can find to complain about the film, and I don't want to complain about it, really. Is that, like, it just, at the moment that it happens and the way that it happens, you're just kind of like, oh, okay. He's got a whole bag of tricks, and that's what he pulls out?
Yeah.
Like, that's a cheap trick. Like, because that's what I did kind of like about the characters, and that what gives him kind of this, he does have all the things that you need in the mix to make him work. And he's already working in a way that you don't have to worry about him really changing too much, because, like Freddy, and Chucky, everybody complains about how they got more goofier and less scarier. Mm-hmm. Well, we already have the charm and the goofiness built into this character, and it's already one of the mechanisms that we don't know what he's going to do with, right? And how he laughs at things and what he reacts to. And again, that's kind of where I'm like curious to see where you go from there. And there's still places to go and play with with this character and how he does things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I'm surprised how much I liked it.
Same here.
Looking forward to seeing the third film, and hopefully it delivers. So.
Yeah.
And I like the chick they got in it too. The main.
I was about to ask you, what did you think about Sienna as the final girl?
She's not bad. She's not too bad. I mean, she's right where you need her to be. I just wish she'd get that fucking thing out of her nose.
I think in the second one it's gone, or the third one. I mean, I think it's. I haven't seen it in the commercials.
I'm sorry, I don't like those. I don't like nose piercings, and it's just
I don't like nose piercings either.
They especially look bad in general. So,
yeah, I liked her too because she's like when I was first watching, I didn't quite know how I was going to feel about her.
I was waiting for some woke shit to come barreling in at some point too, and it doesn't. She's actually treated in a way that makes her feel natural, like the classic final girls and such.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
she struggles. I mean, she gets her ass handed to her, and she's fighting, like literally fighting for her life and her brother's life. I mean, it's very well done. I mean, you get the kind of spiritual element to it, which at that point, it's like either you're with it or you're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just one of those things, and it's like at that moment, you just gotta kind of either go with it or whatever. It kind of takes a step that Freddy never did, kind of where they were headed with the Dream Master.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it was kind of like, I never felt like where they never kind of quite got to, and they should have. So yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of that lineage of Nightmare on Elm Street to this, in a weird way.
And you can tell he's a big fan. You can tell he's a big fan, and he's very respectful.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. So
like, I love the whole opening scene of him putting together his contraptions is just like the opening of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I love part 2 is just like the opening of part 3 with her putting together a costume, just like with the
Patricia Arquette's character
putting together the house and shit.
The house, I mean, it's straight out of it. Like you can notice it right away. Yeah, especially if you've seen all the.
And then her having her own kind of powers is obviously a play on the Dream Warriors bit. So like, and then having this natural like good versus evil thing, which I do remember reading somewhere that he did say that was kind of added later in the. So you're probably right about your the way you viewed the first, but he still comes back from the dead in the end of the first movie, and it's like set up, and it picks right up in the second film. So I don't know.
No, that's like I was saying. Like maybe he was not quite fully. I know I'm not right on this.
I always looked at it as, and this is the way I saw it just from the start, and I never questioned it until you just brought it up earlier, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up now, is I always kind of looked at it, he was kind of like Deadpool, in that he can just regenerate, he just takes a lot longer than Deadpool does. And where in this one, he was so fucked up at the end, we literally, spoilers, see him be reborn again, basically.
Yeah. That's
he's just ahead at this point, where it's like, what, the rest of him going to grow out of him like Deadpool or what? And that's when I started thinking like that. I'm like, okay, so he regenerates and shit. Okay,
which does make you wonder, how do you kill Art the Clown?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, because like although like we want like even like Chucky, I always die, but dying's always a bitch, and I always come back. It's like these slasher movies, each one that he's never technically died in these movies at all.
But what it does though, it's brilliant. Like that's what I give this. Because I mean, if this guy not only wrote it and being a special effects guy and all that stuff, because that works on a directing level, because then they know how to shoot the shots to make it look good and all that kind of stuff. But I don't necessarily look. Most of the time when special effects guys flip over to director, there's only a handful that have been able to do it. And to be able to tell that kind of story leveling to where this works in a way that you can continue to do, even though I think he said that the fourth one's supposed to be the last one. I'm going to sit there and say there's got to be an asterisk next to that.
Actually, he's already said no. He's maybe said 2 more.
I was going to say, because at this point, this thing is set up to where you can just keep going and going and going, because you can stop Art for a while, but it's always temporary, right? It keeps him out of the equation for a bit. And I'm assuming that's probably part of the jump here as we go from Halloween to Christmas, where it took him a few months to regenerate. It's probably what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, I doubt they're going to jump a whole nother year and a half or whatever, but like, yeah.
It'd be interesting, because because I've been on the fence about the third one, but now I'm like, after rewatching these and stuff, I'm like, I really want to see the third one now.
My issue is just the time and the money, but somebody sent me the money to go see it, so I'm obligated to now. I just got to find the time.
Yeah, mine is the time. I just have to find. I haven't been able to.
I know you got other kids and stuff to deal with, so like,
yeah. But no, I'm honestly, I'm very, very surprised about how much I myself have liked these. And you're not wrong, because like when you hear all this, oh, it's like Saw or it's like over the top gore, but it's really
Like,
not.
you ain't seen no
It's
fucking
really
horror
not.
movies, then that's what it is.
Like
I
you said,
figured that out pretty quick. Yeah.
yeah, the biggest problem I have is the shit. I don't like the shit stuff. I don't like when seeing people shit.
Yeah,
Or
there's
playing
what, the
shit.
one scene I think with
Yeah.
it in it.
Or the
It's like,
dead
whatever.
possum stuff. That's like really like that's funny because like you talk about that. That's like the grossest thing you see, other than a girl get cut all the way in half from her vagina all the way down to her
But
head.
that doesn't even.
Or that
It's
girl-
so over the top.
It is.
That's what I was saying. It's like that Verhoeven Raimi level, right? Like to where it's like we're gonna have some fucking fun with this, kids. And
Yeah.
again, I get it. If you're somebody who doesn't watch a lot of horror movies, and clearly that's who's a lot of those type of people are going to see these movies, or they wouldn't be doing so well, right? It's more than just the normal horror crowd.
Yeah.
The normal horror crowd's just like, okay, this is a typical Tuesday, right? Like, not maybe a typical Tuesday, but a pretty average Tuesday for the most part.
Yeah.
To where the general public's gonna be like, oh my fucking god, you know, like, and we're like, yeah, we've seen this shit years ago. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, have you not seen Dawn of the Dead? Have you not seen any of these movies? Like, what the fuck? And clearly they haven't, because yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
when
is it on a more visceral level than like it's somewhere between. I would say it's somewhere between like Freddy and Hellraiser, but it's not Friday the 13th either, because it's still a little bit more harsher than that. But it's so over the top that it's on a goofy level most of the time, to where even when the chick gets cut in half, like you're like, he's gonna fucking cut her in half. Oh, he did. Fucking A. And they're showing it. Holy shit. Yeah, cool.
Before the second one came along and everybody kept talking about that scene, I was like, I don't think, because like when you hear people talk about it, like they made it sound so bad.
I've
and
seen
like,
plenty of times where people have been cut in half like that.
and then
Movies.
I'm watching it for the first time. I'm like, this is what people were bitching about. And myself, I was worried about seeing this because I'm watching it like, this is nothing. And she had nice tits, by the way.
Yeah.
But sorry. But
no,
I was like,
it's
I was
not even
watching
like,
it.
and the way it gets shown to you is not even as bad as what people made it out to be either. Right? Like, that's the thing too. I'm just like, this is just a special effects guy showing off what he can do, and you think you're seeing worse things than you really are in a lot of it. And it does look like such a special effect that it takes you to the point where you can kind of laugh at it, right? Like, he knew that. Like, he clearly, like, this guy is so almost pitch perfect on every goddamn thing that's why when I nitpick on the little things that I have, because I like this movie, and the first one especially, more and more I think about it. Second film, more and more I think about it. Same thing. So I'm geared up. I really want to see the third film. I hope it does deliver, because I'd like to see a nice wrap up of this storyline leading into something new, possibly, because I feel like this has kind of run its course now. We need to move on. And then you bring this character back later on when because Art at some point is just going to move on and do other things.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to stay close to somebody who can actually do damage to him.
That's true. That's true. But it will be interesting to see where he takes it, because I do want to see it. And I'd be curious after this one if he goes back to Halloween or if he moves it to just like another day or something. Just not like a holiday, but just like another day. That'd be interesting to see where they go, because I don't know. I know very little about the third movie other than it's Christmas and he dresses like Santa Claus and stuff. That's basically about all I know. But I would
just assume with the way they leave this cliffhanger in the second film and all the people that are coming back and all that business, like I said, I just assume that it's just a couple months later for him to regenerate or something like that. And then he's going to probably try and go after her one more time, or she's got to go after him for whatever reason.
Yeah. But I was surprised, like when they, like you talked about earlier, like when they do their throwdown fight, and you're watching, like he's got that whip he made with the scalpels at the end.
Yeah, he likes using that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's whipping her and they're fighting. They're going back and forth. Like, even when he like whips her and she starts fighting and she like starts fighting back and he looks at her like she's shocked. So I like he's like, oh shit, I had to have some stuff going on here, an actual opponent. And then like it gets to a scene, you think, oh my god, did he actually just do that to her? How are they going to pull this off? Right. And then you get the whole little, oh, okay, I see where they're going.
Yeah, I kind of seen that coming from a mile away. I mean, that's pretty set up. Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is like 10 out of 10 level stuff. I'm not trying to give the director too big of a head of himself, but look, this is something refreshing we haven't gotten in a long time, and I understand now why people are going to see these movies. It's not like I kind of didn't kind of get it before, but again, I was under the impression, like Greg, that these were like Saw level torture porn shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going in and you just think it's going to be nothing but that kind of crap, then you're just like, that's what people think horror is anymore, and it's not. This is clearly somebody who grew up on this shit, understanding horror, making a horror movie.
Yeah. And and I agree. I do think there's an actual story there, a decent story. I do think there's a good story, and I think the first one
It's
had
an
a good
earned story. That's the reason why it works, because we get introduced to Art the Clown. We don't overcomplicate it. We just get kind of a basic concept of what he is, what he's all about, and the chaos, right? The anarchy about him. And that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for that one time where we meet somebody who does exactly what he needs them to do, to be like, okay, I'm gonna let you live. Like,
yeah. That would be an actual good thing to see.
And it may be something that happens in part 3, because I feel like we're leading up to that at some point. Because like that's the way he always does his little games, right? When he picks his new victims.
Mm-hmm.
And there's got to be a pattern to it. And it almost feels like there has to be, but nobody's figured it out yet. And I almost thought that one chick was almost there, right? Because she accepted him, she embraced him, she played along. So I'm like, obviously somebody has to play along, but they have to do what he wants them to do. And then it's okay. The cycle's complete. He'll move on. Right. Like, that's the thing. It's like this weird twisted thing about him. And again, whether he's this clown that used to kill kids at some circus or whatever history he used to have, or he's just this ongoing demon that has just always been there. And is just, Art the Clown is his newest form he's taken now for the last 100 years or whatever, kind of like It or whatever,
You know what?
You get that history with the little girl and the father, but it's left open enough to where we got still room to grow into it and stuff. Yeah.
If I'm honest here, since you was bringing all that up, this almost, since we keep talking about how he sort of tapped into the Freddy thing, this almost feels like where New Nightmare, the demon from New Nightmare, went.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
All that stuff in there. Exactly. When you said that and you're like, oh yeah, there's a little bit. I'm like, oh, dude, there's a lot more than that. There's a lot of stuff going on underneath there. Like, clearly Nancy is the character. I mean, it's the Dream Warriors element, only it's in the daytime, not just at nighttime. But she has to go through, and she literally goes through the hero's journey.
Yep.
Like, almost verbatim, like to the point where she's literally thrown into a pit and left for dead and should have died, and then rises again, the hero. That's why it works, because she earns it all. It's all earned. She's not some OP fucking character, even though she does have powers kind of like him in a way. But, again, they're both set up in a way that where they can have a battle and not walk away unscathed. Yeah. Right? Even
it's very, like you said, it's very much earned. It is very earned by her, because I wasn't sure how I felt about her at the first, but as the movie progressed, I was like, okay, I'm getting to like this girl.
Because she's kind of a wishy-washy character. You're right. She could go uber progressive at any fucking time. You're just waiting for it.
Yeah. I really liked her mom in the second movie. She was just so fucking
was a great
stressed.
character, yes. She's a very great character. I
felt so bad for her, and I felt so bad when I laughed when he shoved the mashed
potatoes. Well, she's a real character, and that's why the characters work in the second film, and that's why I don't... yes, it's a little over-bloated, but that's where I would be like, get rid of some of the other stuff around this, because if anything, it felt like anytime we would go on to other things, it was kind of taken away, but then a lot of those scenes are the Art the Clown scenes where it's just leading into that, right? Which is fine. Again, I'm nitpicking at fucking fleas here at this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. And again, that's why I pick on the gun thing in the running time, because that's all I can fucking find a bitch about.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even really tell you anything I would necessarily get rid of. I would really just probably tighten up part 2. And I don't even know how I'd do that. I'd have to really sit down and rewatch it a couple times. And then maybe I could find a way to cut it down under 2 hours. But that's really all it needs to be, is just under 2 hours, right? Yeah. You can do a horror movie at 90 minutes to an hour and 45. That's fine. You can stretch it out to 2 hours if you're doing something on the level of like New Nightmare, right? That's understandable. But even that, I think, is an hour, clocks in at an hour 45, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah. It's only like, it's not quite 2 hours.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't think that's like something that has to be like a steadfast thing, but you can always have an extended cut later on DVD, and that's where you add in the pillow and whatever, the shit that nobody needs.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time believing that you need 3 hours like you do for Needful Things to tell Art the Clown story.
Yes.
Especially if we know it's going to be an ongoing saga.
Yes.
Some of this could have been left for a sequel.
I agree. I
Right.
agree with you. I do agree with you on that.
'Cause you probably could have pulled yet another sequel out of the next couple of these instead.
Yeah,
Then.
that's true. That's true. But hey, like I said, he listened to the criticism. Maybe went a little overboard, trying to show you. You know what? I can direct, I can write, and I can do special effects, and I'll give you a story.
No, and I understand that, and that's fair.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know what? It doesn't matter. He knocked it out of the fucking park with that second film.
Oh, he did.
And the proof of it's in the pudding that the third film is making a joke out of the fucking Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
Big time.
Big time. Take it easy, VHS Massacre.
We joke about like catering budgets and shit like that. No, literally, the Terrifier 3 was probably made for less than the catering budget of Joker 2.
Yep.
And it is eating its fucking lunch right now.
Yeah. And what's funny is the guy that plays Art the Clown actually played the Joker in a fan film before he became Art the Clown.
I think a couple times, yeah. Or something
yeah, a couple times. Which is crazy. But no, I was interested to hear your thoughts on it because I watched them last year, and I was the only one that watched them last year that was on our panel. And now you've seen them this year, and I was kind of curious because I was
reluctant, but it was only just because of the vibe going into them this was nothing but just chaos, torture porn.
Exactly.
And even the first movie that has less of a story to it, as far as like compared to the second film, which has more character story. The first film I thought was pitch perfect, and you don't need anything more than this. We got introduced to our two characters up the front. We know that all these other characters are just going to be fodder for Art to die. We care enough about the main girl and her friend. We care enough about the maintenance guy. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Right? The rest of it is pure icing on the cake. And it doesn't deviate too far from where it needs to. It finds a way to isolate itself story-wise, to take the characters to a place where it's believable that nobody else is hearing this noise, and it's taking forever for her sister to get there and shit. Like it works in such a great way, and it's so tight that's what I feel like is like one of the main things that's missing from the second film. And maybe it just once over just tightened that movie up, and you didn't really have to lose anything necessarily. Just little bits here and there you probably could have trimmed away, or just made it clip along even faster than it does, because it does clip along at a pretty nice pace though. That's the thing, is I can't even gripe about that, because I managed to watch the first film, jump into the second film, and it literally got to the point where I got to go to bed or I'm not going to get up in the morning because I didn't want to stop watching it.
You're right. I've been there.
But it was like, it's just fuck this movie for being so goddamn long, because otherwise I'd be over halfway through the movie by now, because I was like 45 minutes in and I'm like, I'm not even halfway through this movie yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and that's where the point where you're just like, and it's just starting to get into the second act, and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And so I ended it, and then like come back the next day. So like, again, I'd like to watch them again. I can't wait. I pre-ordered that 4K Steelbook set that's coming out in the UK from Studio Canal next year. I think it is early in the year, late this year. I can't remember which.
I was probably just going to pick up the Steelbook that comes out next month.
Well, I got this one because it's the only way, as far as I know so far, to get the first film in 4K, which I looked, and both films were shot, as far as I know, in 4K native.
I was curious as to why the first one doesn't have a US 4K, but I do know, I mean, I know this is all independent. He owns everything, but I know the first movie was put out by Dread Central, and then the second movie, Screambox has done the second one and the third one. So
and that's the beauty of it, is he pre-sold these fuckers to Screambox, and they probably gave him 10 times what the budget is.
Which is, it's so it's interesting that he went to Screambox and not Shudder. So there's I bet he got a really good deal.
Offered him more.
Yeah, they probably offered him more, and plus he gets to keep everything. It's all his.
That's probably the other reason then, yeah.
All independent shit. That's why another reason why this
probably
is
have
so
the exclusive
big.
Streaming for so long. That's all
Yeah.
they bought probably then.
Because like even like when I was
this
talking
guy's smart. The way he's doing this, I would love to meet this guy. I would love to pick his brain. I would love to hear what he's got planned on other sides of things, because I mean, this is the kind of thing that needs to be applied across the board to other things. I'm not saying I want to see a bunch of indie movies with no stars in them or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to see this translate into a more higher budgeted range where you can have stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. But shit, we even get Chris Jericho at the end of the second film.
Well, what's his name? I know is in the sequel, but I don't know who he plays. From the Lost Boys. Patrick.
No.
Robert. Is it
Or,
not
yeah,
Robert?
not Robert
Is that his
Patrick, the
name?
other kid, Jason Patrick.
Jason Patrick. I know he's in it.
The
I
kid
know,
from the guy from The Exorcist, yes.
yes, I know he's in the third movie, but I don't know
Oh,
who
cool.
he is.
Cool.
I don't know
Okay.
who he is, and I know Tom Savini makes a guest appearance.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Yeah.
That I'm
So I
looking
know
forward
that.
to then.
I don't know what he is either, but I just seen it because I follow the Damien Leone, and I've seen him like he.
That's
posts
pretty
pictures.
cool that Tom Savini's in it, because that is kind of like a generational wink, nod.
I know Tom Savini's
Passing of
in
the
it.
torch kind of thing.
I mean, he does that. Like even in the second movie, we have Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp as the principal or teacher.
Oh, that's right.
the school,
Yeah, I didn't even really realize that
Yeah.
until you said that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I swear I've seen the mom other places, but I looked her up and I'm like, I don't see anything I recognize, but I swear I recognize her. From
Yeah, she
somewhere.
looks familiar though, don't she?
Something about her. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was, but it's not showing up in her listings. So
It was so mean when he does. They're so mean, but when he's sitting
it
there,
is.
and he's like doing the like with the when he's got dinner and I'm laughing and it's.
But
so
I knew
mean.
she was gonna get it because I knew that was gonna thing that was gonna send her over the edge because I knew they weren't gonna do the brother yet.
Yeah,
I figured he could either save for the sequel or he just happened to survive.
yeah.
But I love that she's like his protector at the same time, and just the whole, I do. I like the whole thing. The little girl fucking clown is freaky as shit.
It is. He was. Did see how he did that. He actually put the top. You know how your teeth are on the top. What he said he did to make it look like make her so creepy and why people can't put their finger on it is like he put the top of her teeth on the bottom and the bottom of the teeth on the top.
Okay.
So her teeth are reversed.
Yeah, she's a weird looking one. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we still don't quite get it. I mean, like she was apparently one of his victims or something.
Yeah, that's a weird one too. And it maybe you may be right to where like that was like maybe like that was his first victim, and now he's reached that next level of whatever he's at now, or it's just one he tags along with because it was one of his favorites. I don't know. Or,
and only he and like the boy, and I think she can only see her. Like nobody else can see her but them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's layers to it, and like I said,
she's in the third film, as far as I know. So I'm sure we'll get. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But I know the girl from the first movie is in the third film. I know her role is expanded. I do know that because especially after the way the second one ends, we know that she was going to be involved in somehow. But I'm interested to see, and it really does feel like that. I just now thinking about it, it just really does feel like this is where the Freddy demon went after New Nightmare. Like if he can't be Freddy again, this is who he's moved on to.
It feels kind of like that weird.
It does
kind of thing, yeah.
Like they have to make the movie about him to contain him.
And I'm glad to see something like this do very well because hopefully there's some lessons learned from it. We get more things like this. I know we'll get some copycats, but I mean, I want. Sometimes in those copycats you can get some gems. So
now I do recommend you see at least the Hatchet movies, at least the first one.
I might have to try those. I mean, it just depends. Some of them, like there's this weird period there that I fell out of horror just because it just felt so weird. It just wasn't.
Well, the Hatchet movies is basically Jason. It's basically Jason.
That's kind of it's got Kane Hodder in it, right? So,
yeah, it's Kane Hodder's in it, and like even when I was
my buddies told me about him before because he's a huge Jason fan. So,
well, like when I was talking to Adam Green, you could tell, because like that, because you could tell he was a big like camp horror movie type guy, and that's where the story from Hatchet even comes from. It's like no problem. Yeah, it's like he was telling me that he went to summer camp and he expected it to be like summer camp in the movies where he was going to all that. And it was really boring. And then they told him a story about, you can't go over to this area because that's where Hatchet Face will get you. And he said, he wanted to know more about Hatchet Face. And nobody could tell him more about it because this was, just don't go over there, Hatchet Face. So he made up the story of Hatchet at 8 years old of like what he would do and how he does. And that's, he held on to it all the years till he got to Hollywood and made the movies. But yeah, he was trying to do what Damien Leone's doing. He was trying to do what Damien Leone was doing right now. He was trying to do that ahead of time. It's all his creation. It's all independent film. He tried to release them unrated in theaters. He was pulled within 24 hours, never went back. So Damien Leone succeeded where he failed. So, but he definitely has captured something with these movies. I really do. I think if you're squeamish or you're skeptical if you've heard something that maybe I'd say give them a shot. There's something to them. There's something very 80s horror to them that feels familiar but new at the same time and fresh. And I don't know why so many people like the Saw and Hostel movies. I won't lie. I like the first Saw movie. I think the first Saw movie is great. It's not really torture porn, in my opinion, the first one, because there's really not that much nastiness in the first movie. The first movie is really like psychological, like battle. It's the ones after that go crazy because, like, oh, they saw the traps in the first movie, so they went and up the ante on all the traps from then on out, and that's really what it became about. But I won't lie, I do like the first Saw. After that, I'm not such a I'm not that big on the Saw movies and the Hostel movies. I've never been a huge fan of Eli Roth. The only good movie I think he's done.
I think he's a better actor than he is.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, Thanksgiving is probably the best movie I've seen.
I like him when I see him in movies, but I don't really have. I can't really say that his movies are that great. Although I haven't seen Thanksgiving yet.
Thanksgiving is it's pretty much a Scream movie. It really it's pretty much a Scream movie.
I'm gonna probably watch it this year, hopefully, because Rick sent it to me. That guy who sends me all kinds of
nice.
So, yeah.
I need somebody to send me the Terrifier 2 VHS from Walmart. If anybody's listening, I missed out on that. I wasn't. Either they were sold out or they didn't even carry it.
I don't think I saw it anywhere. So yeah, I would have grabbed you one, man.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's all good. It's all good.
My Walmarts around here suck ass.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
I'm glad, I think we wrapped it up.
Yeah, I think we were going to say I'm glad that you liked them. I was glad that you dug them because I was curious because I didn't want to be left alone on the art train here by myself.
No, I ended up liking them more than I expected to. So yeah.
Yeah, but
that's always a nice thing.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching out there. Everybody hanging with us in the chat. Everybody at home watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Next week, we should be doing the night before Halloween. So maybe we'll have some good scary movies, conversation, and physical media for you then. But as always, you don't have to go home, and you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.